Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners regular workshop meeting. Today is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026, and it is 2 p.m. City Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Brooks,
Here.
Vice Mayor Kerr,
Here.
Commissioner Taglerini, Commissioner McGeehan,
Here.
Commissioner Gavayi,
Here.
all are present.
Public comment. Public participation is encouraged. If you are addressing the commission, step to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and the organization or group you represent. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes and do not include any topic on the agenda. Public comment on agenda items will be allowed when they come up. If you would like someone at the city to follow up on a comment or question made at the meeting, you may fill out a comment card with the contact information and give it to the city manager. Comment cards are available at the back table in the commission chambers. Completing a comment card is not mandatory. Do we have any public comments? With no public comments, before we start, there's a couple of things on the agenda that are going to change, or we need to move around. First, Board of Commissioners 4C is going to be removed and will come up on a workshop, at a budget workshop in a future event. And then I'd like to bring 10C up to after the Board of Commissioners and add to the Board of Commissioners a brief discussion on the library time capsule.
Mayor Brooks, the item to move up from recreation was 10B.
Oh, 10B, I'm sorry, 10B. And that'll be talking about the Madeira Beach Market. Is everybody okay with that? We're going to put it in place right after we finish the Board of Commissioners before the city attorney.
Okay.
So first on the agenda is A, discuss how to recognize residents who go above and beyond for the city. And I'm not sure who's going to take this.
Request. Yes, we had passed some sort of an ordinance last year to recognize people that contribute to this town in positive ways. And, as we walk around, we do our daily things. I've noticed many amazing people that just give and don't really expect anything in return. So that's why I brought this request to this board last year. And what I love to do is set up some sort of a plan to recognize these folks, these people. And of course, as you recall, we had different levels of recognition. So I would love to just discuss that and possibly put the wheels to motion where we can reach out to these folks and make certain presentations and recognize them and appreciate them.
Do we have any public comment? So, Commissioner, I did go and spoke with the city manager, and the resolution that we wrote, or that we all voted on, it does take into account the process to do each one of the items. The only thing that we found that we really hadn't done was designed a coin for each commissioner to get their 3 coins to hand out, like a challenge coin, to residents. But correct me if I'm wrong, City Manager, but if there's someone that you want to nominate, we take it to Clara individually, and then she would bring it to the commission.
Well, just the idea was just to set up some sort of a program schedule, ideas to recognize, to bring these people to recognize them. So just a way to facilitate that is what I had intended to do. How do we go about recognizing some people that are doing so much out there is really the idea that I'd like to discuss at this board.
So Commissioner, in my opinion, if we put it on a schedule and we were forced to nominate a business or an individual and had to give us the key to the city out or any other award every quarter, I feel like that would kind of take away from the award. And in the resolution, it does state that at any time you could go to see the city clerk and make a recommendation.
Well, again, I'm just looking for ideas how to do it. So whatever this commission feels the approach would be, we'll honor. If I have to just go ahead and give the city clerk a name, if that's the way that this commissioner foresees that, then by all means.
Mayor, it was my understanding that as part of this resolution, we have all these options here.
We do.
That's what was part of the resolution. So, for instance, if I wanted to, well, the city coin, it seems like I get 3 and I can give them to whoever I want. But the congratulatory letters, the key to the city, all of that, are you suggesting that we would just take that to the city clerk and she would prepare a presentation, or she would just make it happen?
So we had a lot of discussion on the key to the city and how special that was, and how to give the key to the city to anyone should not be taken or given lightly. I think when you, and that would be, if you knew somebody or any one of us had somebody that they wanted to give the key to, you would go to the city clerk, you would tell her, I would like to recommend this person for the key to the city. She would then have to place it on the agenda, and it would come to all of us for discussion. The certificates of recognition and appreciation and congratulatory letters, those would come before the commission too, I would suspect. The only thing that would not come before the commission would be a city coin. And,
Okay, well, that was
Yeah,
my
everybody would
understanding
yeah,
as well.
that
Yeah,
is,
and there's no timeline. We don't have
No.
to have it submitted by January 30th.
No.
If we come across someone, let's send it to the city clerk presents it on an agenda item, and we go from there.
right.
Does that sound everybody else's understanding?
And that person would come in and we present them with the recognition of whatever.
Assuming the
sort
board
of-
approved it.
Right.
Besides, except a coin.
Right. Yes.
So the city coin can be presented at any time.
Anytime. That's something that if you were, you would just give to someone for your, that's your, like, if you, a
Right.
challenge coin that you get from a senator or another, or a fire department or something, they give that to you for whatever their reasoning is. That's what the city coin is.
Yeah, it's
And
a less
your-
formal type
it's-
of
yeah,
appreciation.
Much less
formal,
formal. It's
yes.
your opportunity to
Show appreciation.
individually show appreciation to an
Yes.
individual.
Absolutely.
We just need to design that. We don't have that. I would think that it would just be something with the city seal on it.
Right
But
there.
that would be, yeah.
And also, I was thinking, what a great time to present the key to the city right around 4th of July, when the community is all together. And we have everyone together at that time. Once a year. We could do it once a year.
Well, see, that puts us back on a
Right.
timeline. I feel like if somebody's deserving, somebody stepped up, I don't know, right after a hurricane or right after an event, and we want to give them the key to the city to think, I think we should have the flexibility to offer that at any time. Is that
I would agree with that.
my understanding?
City, yeah.
Yeah. Not to have to
But I
wait.
would like to see it presented, this
Bill?
is like a major thing, Bring them up on stage, show our appreciation.
So let's say if I were to determine this person's worthy of the key, what would be the process?
You would go to Clara.
Yes,
Clara would then put it on the agenda.
okay,
It would be discussed with the commission. We would all agree or say no. And then
I see.
it would go on an agenda for that person to come and receive the key.
Correct.
And then we could ceremonially award it again at the 4th of July.
Correct.
as
Absolutely,
Commissioner
yes,
McGeehan
absolutely.
is
We could-
suggesting.
Definitely.
So that person's name would be discussed?
Yes.
And then if you said no, wouldn't that be somewhat hurtful to the person?
That was the biggest thing we discussed in the last meeting when we did this resolution. And I think that what we should all be very mindful of is that when you think about giving the key to someone, why are you giving it to them? What did they do for this city, for these residents, for our town to warrant that key? I think that, to me, and based off of the discussions we had, I think that was the big takeaway. Who would you give that to? I mean, whoever you're going to give the key to, it should really mean something. And
Absolutely,
they
yeah.
should have been someone who really exemplified something in our city, really were a part of the city, really above and beyond for the city. I don't know what that is or what that looks like, because I quite frankly can't think of anyone that I would give the key to the city to myself.
I can.
Right,
I
and
can.
so,
And what I was thinking, just to be forward or frank, every commissioner can have one key per year, one commissioner per key per year, and you can give that to anyone that you feel is most worth it. You know, that was really my idea, and not have to be so stingy with just giving one key to one person per year.
So in the fire service, we have a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it's the most prestigious
Right.
award you can get as a fire chief in the state of Florida. And that's given once every 3, 4, 5 years. They don't do it every single year because it kind of takes away from the award itself. And I'm not saying saying people aren't deserving of it, but I would suggest that you know these people that you're thinking of, are they truly deserving of it? Because it is the city's most prestigious award.
Yes, exactly.
I can think of at least 2 people right now that I would love to give the key right now to them, and they have done wonderful.
But I would agree with the city manager, and I thought it was a requirement that we had to have a full write-up on why we were doing that when we went to Clara. That was my recollection of our conversation, is because you don't want to present something and then have the presentation and not have the reasons why. Or if we're discussing it, you have to know all the reasons why. Whoever nominates that person may be very astute to all the reasons why, but everyone else wouldn't.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was a
Also,
requirement.
I'd like to see the residents involved in making the decision, whether it's via email or text, and say, my neighbor has, done this, and I would appreciate you listening to the story. We've had a lot of heroes after the hurricanes, and I'd like to see a lot of community involvement on this also.
so I think what you're speaking of, Commissioner McGeehan, is more certificates of recognition and appreciation or congratulatory letters than it is the key to the city. The key to the city is special.
Right.
It is not something that you want to give out every month or even every year. Not to mean that you couldn't have 3 people who did something just absolutely amazing and they all deserved it the same year. I'm not saying that because I don't know that, but I think that recognizing the residents, that's what the certificate of recognition is for, and appreciation. And I think if you have somebody that you feel deserves that, then you should take it to the city clerk, because there are a lot of people in our community that could and should be recognized, not just residents, but businesses alike.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that I would think would be appropriate.
Right.
And that will inspire a lot more residents to be more involved. And
I think we have a
achieve.
lot of residents that are really involved in our community, and we have a lot of fantastic residents.
Absolutely.
You just have to pay attention.
Yes.
So, are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
fine. Thank
I
you.
have a suggestion
Yes, ma'am.
to do away with timelines. You know how we have proclamation, presentations? We could put appreciation and recognition or something like that, certificates, how you just called it. And then it'll just automatically be on there. We can add that when you revisit your BOC policy in April. And then we have proclamations that just comes forward all the time, If we have them, we have them. That's where we put them, and that's just a suggestion. And then also for the ones where we need the document, why they're being recognized or whatever, I can come up with a form and bring it at a workshop, and y'all can look at it and tweak it or whatever you want to do.
Sounds good.
Get from other clerks.
Yeah.
That is a good idea.
Good idea.
That's a good idea, Clara.
Just add the certificates of recognition on the agenda.
Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda is the vacant property at 217 150th Avenue located behind Kava Shack.
Mayor and Commission. We have, the Vice Mayor Kerr has brought this to the attention of the board, myself, to explore the possibility of purchasing this property. Attached in your agenda are some of the minutes. Myself, Marcy, some of her staff, we met with the owner of the property, tried to bring everybody 100% true facts versus I think we can or we might not be able to. So we we did a lot of work on this. So what you have right there is everything that we have been able to come up with. And then, excuse me, there were a few last minute emails sent, so that's what's printed out for the board right now. And we're just, I guess, looking for a direction. Should we continue to explore this, or, you know, whatever the direction of the board may be, continue moving forward with this, or call it a dead project?
So I'd like to open it for public comment before the commission begins. Do we have any public comment? Please.
I don't want to touch the computer here. Hi, I'm John Lipa, Vice President of Madera Cove Condominiums, 399 150th Avenue. I have 25 of my neighbors here, and several of us plan to speak today. First of all, let me say a couple things. One, Madera Cove is very proud to be a vibrant part of the city of Madera Beach. And we did receive the key to the city for being the best small condominium in the state of Florida for Florida-friendly landscaping. We are not against development. We're pro-smart development. When this whole area was under discussion, we did have concerns. We worked with the developer, Mr. Carnes. We worked with the developer, Mr. Holtland, about the property up there which you just purchased. And we worked, and together we went to the FDOT to try to get some traffic pattern mitigation. That didn't work out, as we all know. So we're not against Mr. I hope I pronounced it right, Androvich, is that right? Proposal to sell his property or develop his property. We just don't think the use that the city is considering is the best use for that property or for our neighborhood or for our property values or for our property in general. We own that driveway. We have a deed. We had a title company search it. It shows we own that driveway. So we want to be good neighbors. But we don't think this project that you're considering falls within the city master plan. And about that driveway, we've been maintaining it since 1995. Last year, in October, we spent $29,750 to mill and repave that 300-foot driveway. That's our driveway. We're concerned about the traffic, that whatever goes in there, if it's the utility trucks parked there, whether they're sanitation trucks or pickup trucks, is going to cause traffic on that road. There's going to cause U-turns. When we have to come out of our driveway, we have to look 9 different ways for traffic. Now we got to fight. We can't get across the street. It happened just today when I tried to get out. I had to wait for another guy who wants to make a U-turn. Well, if the trucks want to go down Gulf Boulevard, they got to come up and make a U-turn. That's going to impact us. It's going to impact our property values. So I ask you to really seriously think about, is this the right thing to do? City of Madera Beach is 2 miles long and a smile wide. We're not smiling about this project. Thank you.
Do we have any additional public comment?
Afternoon, Roger Gersting, East Madera Avenue. Our street abuts the backside of that property that's in question. I just got one question. Why is this something that is even brought up? Have we outgrown the current public works area? Is this the reason that we're even considering spending this kind of money to buy and then have to develop another project that's a couple hundred yards down the street from what you've got already existing, and it looks to me, just driving through, that there's plenty of vacancy there to add more vehicles if you need it. So that would be my question, is why is this even a consideration? That's all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Sansoli. My husband and I reside at 399 150th Avenue, and I'm a member of Madera Cove's Property Ownership Committee. So Chairman Brooks, other commission members, attendees, and other invitees. Okay, there are three things that are top of mind, at Madera Cove, and my fellow committee members will address additional points. So the first question is the issue of suitability. So as John Lipa has briefly touched on, Madera Beach has paid a lot of money to develop a master plan. So a copy of which is here, okay? So the proposed facility is currently planned for planned redevelopment mixed use, okay? In our mind, the concept of putting a public works facility does not square, within the definition of what is being defined or considered in the master plan, okay? Also, if you were to think about what is best practice for the location of a waste transfer facility, we're not going to wordsmith, what we should call this facility. We'll just, for simplicity's sake, call it a public works facility or waste transfer facility, regardless of whether trucks are going to be held overnight at this location. A public works site at the town center is clearly not an attractive feature. It really does not check any boxes for what we all view as a well-managed public works or a waste transfer station facility. Just to briefly mention what some of the EPA top guidelines are for such a facility location, it needs to be located in a location and operated to ensure the public health, safety, and welfare of the community and environment. It also should be located to minimize incompatibility with the character of the surrounding area. It needs to be located in an area where traffic patterns to and from the facility will minimize the impact on existing traffic flows. So clearly what's being proposed and will be discussed in more detail later do not jive with what is known as best practice for location of such, for the use of this proposed purchase. Second question is, we question the goal of the proposed purchase. Now, in our humble opinion, the city will not be faithfully acting as a good steward of the taxpayers, of the residents' tax money if it proceeds with the proposed purchase. Again, in our opinion, will be acting merely as a takeout for an investor who owns 4 parcels of land that it wishes to divest, okay? We were privy to the January 20th Kava Shack meeting minutes, and in which the investor, quote, cited, regardless, the site will be a good investment for the city. Perhaps after the public comments, the investor can enlighten us as to what those benefits are and why it would be a good investment for the city. Okay, I mean, we understand the investor clearly wishes to cash out, but we'd like to hear the benefits, that would be accruing to the residents that live in this city. Now, the third concern or question is fiscal responsibility and potentially maybe an indication of lack of focus of the city. Now, the city already paid $18 million recently for 4.6 acres at 555 150th Avenue in October last year. It is meant to become a welcoming gateway to the city and also to ease the crowding at the city marina and provide a new home for and get this, a public works facility, okay? To us, it's counterintuitive to see a beautiful gateway being purchased or to be built, only to encounter a waste transfer station half a mile down the road and right at the entrance to the town center. So we also, in addition to this purchase, we also read that the city has been in talks with Engaging Heaven Ministries to purchase their site at 153rd Avenue for another $4.6 million. So, and that is meant to be intended for public works as well. So we don't really know whether the sale is going to go through or not. Did a search of the records, and it hasn't so far. But this development that we're looking at would be the third proposed site for a public works facility. So question is, how many public works facilities do we need for the city? So the city is not in the real estate business. So we're just buying land first and then trying to figure out what to do with it. It's just not good governance. So
Thank you.
with that, I'll pass it on to my fellow commissioners.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. First, I appreciate and commend you for taking public input. Not everybody does that, so it is very much appreciated. I actually am a developer.
Do you
I'm
mind giving
sorry.
your name?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Richard Batt, 399 150th A303, Madeira Cove. So I actually am a developer, and I have been a developer for over 40 years. I started out Deloitte & Touche in the real estate practice, and then worked for a couple of developers, developed about 1.5 million square feet of office space, started my own business, developed about 2,500 single-family lots, and then became a partner in a company, Redwood Living, and I came on there as a partner and chief acquisition officer. And we took a company that had 1,200 apartments to a company that has 25,000 apartments. And it was my responsibility to identify the land, buy it, go in front of boards like you and get it entitled. Of course, I had staff, I couldn't do all that myself. Get it entitled, deal with traffic issues, deal with a number of issues. And I have really two generalized comments about this. There are issues with compatibility and with impact. And, people have talked a little bit about the compatibility, where we're taking a residential neighborhood and we're going to drop a public works facility in the middle of it. I would say that is, certainly not within the bounds of your overall city planning. You guys went out, I'm sure, over time, hired consultants, used your planning staff, had public hearings, had public input, and came up with a comprehensive plan. And that comprehensive plan identifies this property as a mixed use. And we at Madeira Cove are not opposed to development of the site. It's just, we do not think that a public works facility is within the spirit of your comprehensive plan, nor is it within what you would expect to be built in a residential neighborhood. You already have there Madeira Cove, you have the Boca Vista, Snug Harbor, the condos across 150th, the upcoming Beachmaker, the bank property, the Cambria, and a number of single-family homes that are all impacted by what you're putting here. And basically what you've done is you're going to drop a public works facility that is basically encircled by residential property. Also, to Mary's point, you purchased the site down the street as a gateway to the city, and then you go a half mile up the street and you drop in a public works facility. Somewhere where you guys are all envisioning this to be a town center, the focal point of Madeira Beach with restaurants and hotels and condominium buildings and the beach. It just seems so far out of character with what belongs there. To me, you are taking a premium piece of property and you're trying to cram into it a non-premium use. That just doesn't belong there. Let's see where I am here. So comprehensive plan, I want to talk about that for a minute. We talked about, you went through all this. One of the purposes of the comprehensive plan is discipline. It's really for the city to have a vision of what they want this city to look like in the future. And to go and take your comprehensive plan and throw something in the middle of it that doesn't belong there is really breaking the discipline of a comprehensive plan. There are cities who do that all the time, and they end with a hodgepodge mess. Comprehensive plan, you spent the money, did the time in order to put that together, and now you just want to ignore it. And you have to amend it. They are so hard to amend for a reason, because you're not supposed to amend it. Last comment, I'm running out of time, is impact. Into Madeira Cove on our driveway to drive into our property, and right away you see a public works yard. That is detracting from the appearance of our community, is detracting from our property values. It is drawing vermin, I promise. It is drawing vermin. It is causing environmental runoff. Things are blowing out of that site to the neighboring sites. It is just not something that belongs there. Look, we understand the property is going to be developed. All we want is a good neighbor. This is not a good neighbor.
Thank you very much. Do we have any additional public comment?
Good afternoon. John Douthert, 401 150th Avenue, Madeira Beach, Boca Vista condominiums. I've got a couple issues. One is the traffic and pedestrian safety. As we all know, someone was just killed right there again about a week ago. It is not a safe area, and to add more trucks and traffic through there, it's just not a smart thing. Second thing is the total cost. To purchase the land, it's a flood area. To build it up so it's not become a flood area and to build something on it, the cost is going to be astronomical, I believe. And my third issue is the potential rodent problem of having the garbage truck there. I'm not saying they're going to stay there overnight or anything, but the rats will find them and everything else will find them. So that's a big concern to the residents in that area. And like I said, the flood area, and if you build that up, where's it going to flood to? The street behind there and those homes there? You know, it's a big issue because every time it rains, we'll see a couple inches of water just sitting back on those lots back there. So that's what I have to say. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Do we have any additional comment?
Chuck Dillon, 529 Lillian. Good afternoon. I've been out of town the last couple of weeks, so I've just kind of gotten back into the swing of things here. And I have never seen this many people in any of these meetings. So that leads me to think there is so much opposition to this. It's just like, it's crazy. I mean, you know, even though I might be for it, but if you've got this many people that are against it, and I don't believe that the public works people are even really for it. So why are we even discussing this? I'm sorry, you know, it's just, you know, I think you guys have better time for you to handle, but you know, I'm sorry, I'm completely with all these people, and it's just like, really, you want to put a garbage facility in the middle of a residential area? Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment?
Hi, my name is Maria Keeler, 401 150th Avenue. I'm with Boca Vista Condominiums. Been here for 21 years. I'm probably one of the youngest people in that condo. But I also work for the Fleet Division up in Dunedin and right next to their public works. Bringing it here, not only the traffic, but the rodents. I don't know if you guys ever been to a public works or when they spray off garbage trucks, but garbage trucks catch on fire. If they have to come there, they have to wait till the fire burns out, and sometimes it doesn't run out, and they just come here and park. You're gonna spray it off. There's a water back there. It floods all the time. Not just the hurricanes that just passed, like anytime there's torrential downpour of rain, it floods. It gets Madera Cove, so if you build it up, it's going into Madera Cove. It's gonna come into ours, because we park right there, and it'll come into ours. Rodents are bad. I don't care what anyone said, they may not stay, they will stay. Beach rats are beach rats. Maggots, I mean, you're just bringing it all here. We already have traffic problems going in right now. We just built up condos on the right side coming in. We're building more condos and more stores right on Madera Way. We just got over the hurricane and we still are cleaning up that area. I don't see bringing Public Works there is gonna help us or make it look better or make it smell better. It's gonna stink. I don't care what you say, it's gonna stink. And I don't want it to look bad. We already just went through a hurricane, we're still building that up. And to bring a Public Works, bringing more traffic, more trucks, and that's the first thing people will see when they come over Tom Stewart Causeway, is trash trucks. I don't even know how you're gonna get in there, if you're gonna use Madera Cove's driveway. Huh? Right, but there is only one way in and one way out. And if they can't go in to Madera Cove, you're gonna have to go all the way down to Gulf Boulevard, do a U-turn, because there's no other U-turn around there. And you're doing trash trucks. I'm just saying, like, think about it, like, all of us are here. I'm probably not the youngest, but I'm just saying, like, I don't wanna see my kids seeing that. I don't want it to smell bad. I don't want the noise. I don't want the rodents. I don't want anyone to be flooded out. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do we have any additional public comment?
Richard LeBlanc, Madera Cove, 399 150th Avenue. I think one of the concerns that the Board of Commissioners should have today and for the future is to consider what is the extent of the ability to use our driveway. If you need to go into this property by the use of our driveway, I think the Board of Commissioners needs to have a close look at this. We already have. And we're of the view that there's a very restricted use to the easement that's presently in place. And it goes back to 1940 with the initial grant of the easement. And I can read to you from the document itself as to what the nature of the easement is that would allow people to use our driveway in order to enter that property. And this was a deed of conveyance or a document between the owner of the property at the time and the utility company. And it basically described the right-of-way as 20 feet wide and 350 feet long. But it also says that it grants the perpetual right, privilege, and authority to construct, operate, and maintain thereon and thereunder its lines of telephone and telegraph for the general transmission of intelligence consisting of such poles, wires, cables, conduits, guys, anchors, and other fixtures, equipment, and appurtenances as to the said party of the second part, which is the utility company, its successors and assigns may from time to time be required to use, along, across, over, under the property last above described, and further right to permit and maintain the attachment and or carry in conduit wires and cables, and any other company or person thereon and thereunder, and further the right to trim, cut down, and keep trimmed and cut down trees and undergrowth within 10 feet of the telephone lines and the appurtenances thereof, and in addition thereto, the grantee shall have the right to cut down and to remove from time to time all the dead, weak, and leaning trees that are tall enough to touch and fall upon any wires upon the said land. It is the distinct purpose thereof to grant and assure unto the said party of the second part, the utility company, its successors and assigns the perpetual right of ingress and egress to the land herein first above described, and for such purpose to impose upon the lands herein last described a perpetual easement or right-of-way for all of the uses and purposes aforesaid. So this is a right-of-way that is had for the purposes of telecommunications. In a further deed that went to the owner
of the property who sold it to TDP, the same thing is stated. Not exactly the same words, but it's clear that it's for transmission purposes. So my query is this. Does the city really want to get involved in a battle over what the easement is to this property? I can tell you one thing. We will defend our ownership of that driveway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any additional public comment? Going once? Okay, with no additional public comment, commissioners? I'll start because I said in our last meeting that I didn't even know why we were talking about it today. When you have this many people who come to a meeting and say, I do not want this in my neighborhood, and we've had so many emails that we've received from people who are against it, and the biggest thing, there are a couple things. Number one, it doesn't meet the current plan and what's approved to be there. We'd have to go through a years long of changing the designation for that property. We'd have to go through neighborhood meetings of which no one who's living within the 300 feet are gonna walk in, or even 500 feet, and say that they support the city purchasing this. Public Works isn't for it. I think the land does not suit the city's need. And even more than that, the city did just purchase an $18 million piece of property that we're looking for community input to be able to determine what we're going to do there. And we don't have the time, the money, nor the resources to add another project to our plate. It just doesn't make sense, and the community 100% doesn't want it. So that's my opinion.
Madam Mayor, if I may, so I think we just brought this before this board, I think, just to discuss. I mean, there is nothing serious about purchasing, at least in my mind. I think to discuss anything, it's a good idea to be open-minded. I'm not advocating moving forward with the idea of putting the public works there by any means. We just passed the public works, this commission passed the public works building to be in the marina area. So how do you undo what you have passed to relocate it somewhere else? So, in other words, right now on our books, we're saying that the public works will be in the marina section. How do you undo that to even consider putting the public works on this property? I've done a lot of research myself, right up here and even more, and I'm with you as far as having to go and change the PUD plan and neighborhood and mixed use, and it'll take a long time, and it's this thing is not even on my radar, but I'm glad to at least discuss it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone here for coming out today. It's a great group. We've heard a lot of great responses. I'm going to make it quick. Whether the city buys this property or not, I will never vote for it to be a public works piece of land.
I just want to add the significant, there'll be a lot of planning to rezone the property. We have to amend the town center special area plan. We have to amend the comprehensive plan to allow this use. Each of those steps would require public hearings. It looks like the city staff estimates a year process for it to envision this. I have countless emails against this, and I have 2 in favor, one being the owner of the property. So I can't support this. I won't support the purchase of this property.
Given the board's comments, I provided the board a vision of my vision of the 4.65 acres that we just purchased. This discussion of this property cannot be taken without a discussion of that. So I took the time to develop a AI-generated layout of what that would look like. We asked, as a board, we just did, we didn't ask, to invest for all of you, for all the residents, in this piece of property. It's our responsibility to provide you a return on investment. And part of that is going to be parking. So if we have an elevated parking area on that 4.5 acres, it's going to take up 25% of that land. That's not what my vision would be. My vision would be, and I agree with a lot of what was said here. 2 or 3 people brought it up. Why would you invest $18 million into a parcel of property you want to develop for tourism and for our own use and be able to enjoy, and then put a public works facility right next to it? Well, that's what we're doing. By having it on the marina property, that's what we're doing. So instead of that being revenue-generating property, it's taking away our ability to generate revenue and for the looks of that 4.5 acres. And you can ask for a copy of this, and I'll show it to you. Now, whether we buy this property or not, the proposed property behind the Kava Shack, that's not my fight. My fight is to put the parking garage where they want to put, where we have voted to when we, all right, let me back up.
Commissioner, can we stay on focus? We're not talking about the property we
They all
purchased.
go together.
They do not.
They
It's-
do. They go together.
No.
Please let me have my time. If we put the Public Works facility on the marina property, I'm trying to find another place to put it. And this seemed to be a great solution because it was not in the public eye. It was behind the retail centers that are on 150th. There's been many people that are talking about the garbage. I'm a proponent of contracting the garbage out. Let's get rid of it. Why do we even do it? We had a great waste management group here for many years, but then that all changed. Now we have the side pickup trucks. We did a study, not a study, a wild guess from our financial director, Andrew Laughlin. Would it be cheaper to contract out? And the answer was yes, probably. So perhaps it's time to do that. We contract our trash out, but we still need to put this Public Works facility in. Now, I voted after we bought. I voted against putting the Public Works facility at the marina prior to the 4.5 acres coming to sale. But when we bought that, and I never supported stating that this is one of the reasons we want to put Public Works on that property. But it did get out that would be one of the uses. So after we purchased it, it was like, there's no way. We're not buying this fantastic piece of property and putting Public Works on it. It's just not, and if I have anything to do with it, it's not happening. So in my opinion, my humble opinion, That parking garage needs to go where Public Works building is proposed. End of story. And
That's not what we're talking about, though.
It,
We're not
it
talking.
is, so we need to.
We're not
we
talking
need
about a
to-
parking garage.
we-
That's not even the
The
discussion.
discussion is where we're going to put Public Works.
No, the discussion
And the-
is if
and
we're
the
going to buy that property for the purpose that was
All
stated
right,
to us.
well, I have an opportunity to tell my reasons.
You do, but
why
you're going
I-
off course.
Why I suggested that this was a great idea. The garbage trucks are not even a factor. Contract that out. We
That's
ha-
not
we
the
have to-
discussion
We have
we're
to have a
having
place
today.
for a Public Works facility to maintain vehicles, to put vehicles out of the weather. I asked, and perhaps it's put together, what are we going to use this Public Works facility for? It's a place to be out of the weather, to have some offices. All that is clean. It's not rodents, it's not as presented here today. It's all clean. It's trailers that they use to suck the sand up out of the gutters. So I understand, something's going to be built here, and all the things, let's see, traffic, whatever's built here is going to be a lot more traffic than Public Works. Flood area, I don't know how that's going to impact it. Garbage trucks, well, I just addressed that. The zoning, we have Duke Energy right next to it. Frontiers in the building here. It's behind the retail. I still think that it's an opportunity that I would think, if it's all thought out, Madeira Cove may even embrace as, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. Is it going to be a new hotel? Perhaps. Is it going to be,
Pizza place.
with the additional, so it's 1.65 acres with the additional retail, it's going to be something, so. And most everything I've heard, and I respect everything that Madeira Cove's done. I really do respect how you've come together on this. But as a board, I can't see how we make decisions on 4,000 residents, because remember, we represent the whole city. We're making judgments on 30 people, very active, very convicted, and I respect that, how you've come together. But I need to look at the entire, in my mind, how it benefits the entire city. So, and if the gentleman who came in talked about the easement, I'd like to talk to you more about that on our own time. You can reach me, because my understanding of reading the easement of 1940 that's still in play is a 20-foot easement. My understanding is that's access to those rear lots. That's why I would guess that your gate is so far back, 300 feet back, is because you have to maintain access for these other properties. So I could be wrong, but that is something that at least we should understand. So that's my piece.
Any additional comments?
Mayor, Commissioners,
Yes.
the purpose of this discussion was to provide direction to city staff, and the direction that I'd like to suggest is that we table all discussion of the 217 150th Avenue zoning and future land use information until such time as a sale is proposed that falls within the zoning and good use, best use of the property. So for now, I'd like to table the whole discussion.
I agree with that.
Second.
I agree.
No motions
We're
at
not
the meeting.
voting.
This is a
We're just-
workshop. It'd have to
yeah.
be consensus direction, nothing more than that.
Thank you.
Agree.
Okay. Then next on the agenda is going to be the library time capsule. So I was at the Big C meeting today, and we all received an email this week in regards to the time capsule going back in at the library. And I wanted to bring this up so that we could think about over the next week before our next meeting, do any of you have a recommendation for something to go in that capsule? The library did prepare a little, and I'll pass this down. I just got one sample of it, but it's just a little folding book on City of Madeira Beach, who the commission is at the time, and they were going to print this and put it in on our behalf. I don't have an issue with it. I think it's nice, but I thought that it would be nice if we discussed what you would like to see, or if anything, to come from the city to go in that capsule. They've got a lot of cool things that they're already putting in it, so.
Is that a 50-year or 25-year capsule?
It's 50, because they're not going to open it till 68 or something, 60, something like that, 66, I think.
That's like 40-year.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure,
Okay.
Commissioner, but at any rate,
I've been thinking about this, and I didn't see any mention, maybe I missed it. Last year we had a 150-year event. I think some mention should be included in the time capsule regarding that tragedy we had last year with the 2 hurricanes, the flood, the devastation that we're still recovering from. I mean, I don't think it should occupy the entire time capsule. I think some mention should be made of that.
I was about ready to say that also, yeah.
so I think that there is, but I'll tell you what I'll do. If we would just think about it as individually of if there's something that you think a memento would be neat to put in that represents our city, I'll get a list for our next meeting of what they already have to go in it. I know one of the things is they're putting a cell phone, they're putting an iPhone in it with a video, they're going to video the what they're doing and then put it in with a note and the charger for the phone and instructions on how to use phone.
Yeah.
Because I was told today that, when they open it years down the road, never know what the kids of today are going to become and may not even know how to use a cell phone because it might be so
Like an 8-track.
advanced by then, but.
So Mayor, the only thing I would add in here is with the big letter in here, 2026.
Yeah. Oh, write it on there, please.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great. So we'll have that on our next agenda. to
Maybe
be able
even
to
a,
finalize.
maybe even a atlas to put in there.
Who uses an atlas anymore?
That's what I'm saying.
That's cute, though. Okay. Do we have any public comment? Then next on the agenda is going to be 10B. We're going to move up, and that is the Madeira Beach Market relocation request.
Hey, good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. So I brought this forward. I've got Tiffany here that's with the market. They wanted to look at, just due to everything that's going on between the construction on Madeira Way, the Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza under construction, and some other factors, basically wanted to look at a potential relocation of the market. And she's actually got a quick presentation she's going to run through.
Hello, am I limited to 5 minutes?
Are you gonna do
I don't
longer
want to
than
go
five?
I don't want to go longer than that, trust me, but I just want to make sure.
5 minutes.
Okay. I have, just want to give you guys a handout. I only printed 7. Okay, I am Tiffany Ferrecchia, and I'm with Tampa Bay Markets. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to come in front of you today is because I first want to say that we're very proud to have this market, and we're very proud to be part of the Madeira Beach community. We understand that navigating the area's revitalization process post-storm requires flexibility and innovation, and I really want you to know that we stand with you and Madeira Beach, and we want this market to be a cornerstone in the community for a long time to come. I am the CEO of Tampa Bay Markets, and we have proudly been operating the Madeira Beach Wednesday Market since March of 2021. For 5 seasons, we've been located on Madeira Way, and recently, due to pending construction, our location has changed to the City Hall parking lot right out front. Just a little bit about my company, Tampa Bay Markets. We operate 16 buy local markets, and we offer 19 unique market days for local vendors in our communities to choose from. The Madeira Beach Wednesday Market actively promotes the city and stimulates the local economy. It brings in visitors and keeps the community buzz going on every single week. We aim to have over 40 awesome vendors each week with a huge variety of local goodies, unique finds like plants, artisan foods, baked treats, coffee, honey, cool jewelry, clothes, local art, and bath and body stuff. We want to be the spot where locals can grab what they need for the week and where tourists can find the perfect one-of-a-kind gift. And on top of that, we have live music starting at 10 a.m. every Wednesday. Since we've moved to City Hall and throughout the time that we've been operating the market, we've done whatever we can to make sure that we're marketing and advertising the market in the best way possible. Some of the things we're currently doing right now is we have flyers that are distributed to all of our 16 market locations, and we have posters that are designed and then printed out and handed out by the Parks and Recreation Department. We have an e-newsletter that has over 6,000 subscribers. We have posted signage. We do a 10-foot banner across from the old Winn-Dixie, a sandwich board at Archibald Park, 10-plus double-side yarded signs the day of, and 2 market flags. In addition to that, we do a lot of social media promotion because we all know that's the best way to reach people these days. We have a big reach. We have seen the market is driving visibility, tourism, and community engagement, and it's not just about vendor sales. I'd like to highlight a couple of the things that we are doing on social media. On average, our weekly market posts reach about 884 people. Our best performing posts reach over 2,609 people. Our video content is even better. We have 500 views on Facebook for our videos and reels and over 1,200 views on Instagram. We're seeing signs of intent too. In this past month alone, the market content saved multiple times on Instagram, which is a strong indicator that viewers plan to return, attend, or use the information later, something we often see from visitors planning their activities. So in just the month alone, from December 30th to now, here's some of the things that we've seen. On Facebook, we have over 33,000 views and 1,700 page visits. We've gained 80 new followers, which now brings us to 5,300 followers just alone on Facebook. With Instagram, we have 12,500 views, and we now have gained 128 new followers in just 30 days, and we have a total of 4,009 followers. So basically, this kind of growth in a short period shows that the interest in the there's lots of interest in the market, and it's about Madeira Beach being a destination and that it's actively increasing. So how does that impact the city? Well, I feel it's important to mention the engagement frequently includes questions about parking, directions, and what types of vendors are going to be there. This tells us that not only the market is serving the residents, but it's also influencing visitor activity while they're already in Madeira Beach. The Wednesday market consistently generates thousands of online impressions, supports local businesses, and helps position Madeira Beach as an active, welcoming destination. In short, the market acts like a weekly promotional platform for the city, both in person and online. So recently, because we've been struggling in the current location that we're in, we went ahead and ran a survey, and we had 18 vendors respond to the survey. This vendor feedback we get helps us understand how interest translates into real-world customer traffic, sales, and overall market success. Because of that, we surveyed our vendors. We wanted to know, what are their opinions about the City Hall location in comparison to the previous location that was at 15,000 Madeira Way. So here are some of the pros and cons. So the majority over the past location, they expressed that the past location was better. And I guess the reason they said that was that there's better visibility to passing beef traffic and pedestrians walking to the beach. There was higher customer traffic and stronger sales patterns. And more tourists stopped by because they were seeing the market while on their route to the beachfront areas. Locals versus tourists, we're trying to figure out, what is our customer base? Vendors were asked to estimate what percentage of their customers are locals versus tourists at each location. Many vendors reported higher percentage of local customers at the City Hall location, but it's still only between 0 and 25% on tourists. Some of the pros for the old location, just flipping the page, visibility from Gulf Boulevard, higher customer traffic, better sales potential, and the cons are what we usually had was parking is less convenient to some locals, and there were some space limitations for shade and weather. But overall, most vendors who preferred the old location linked that preference to a stronger past sales results. So basically, the mix of the tourists coming in is really helping to keep the vendor on the ground selling what they do, selling what they make and what they do best. So overall, just kind of skipping around the page, City Hall feels hidden to many customers. We've noticed that foot traffic is definitely linked to sales, and Madeira Way Madeira Way near the beach drew more eyes and feet. So, that said, we really want to do what's best for the market, and we don't want it to die off. We started off with 42 vendors this season, and now we're barely hanging on to 20. The City Hall parking lot is awesome. I love it. It's safe. It's easy for us to operate. We've got the music right out front. The problem is we're just not getting anyone to show up, no matter how much money we put into advertising, no matter what we do. And we're about, 30 days into this. So I was wondering, I put on here just, a couple of different layouts for you guys to see. You can see the City Hall layout on the back page. You can see the Madeira Way layout as well, which was the old layout. And then one of the layouts I wanted to discuss, which, I don't know if it's a possibility, but we did work with Max, with the Parks and Rec Department. The goal was to move it temporarily to Archibald Park, and we were going to take up half of that lot, which is the first location on this, on the document. It wasn't a possibility because of the pending construction that could have taken place there. It still hasn't taken place. Wanted to see if there's been an update and if there's any possibility of moving it over there until construction takes place.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any public comment? Commissioners? I don't understand why you left Madeira Way. Because even when they tear that whole strip down, it is not going to affect Madeira Way. It's not encroaching into Madeira Way. It's not going to take away any of the parking. It's not going to take away anything. So I don't understand why you moved.
I don't know either.
So if I was going to give a recommendation, I would recommend you move back.
Okay.
Because, and my reasoning would be, among many other things, it was much more attended. I went when it was there.
Right.
And I've only come here once.
Right.
It's just not in my walking path, right?
Right.
But one of the comments that we've received is about parking and like, we're out of Kitty Stewart Park because we're still waiting to get it back and get that parking back for the city. We're coming into spring break, and to give up parking at Archibald, I
Right.
don't think would be a good use for, or a good idea for the city. So, I mean, my recommendation would be to go back to Madeira Way.
Okay. Well, it's great to hear that there's no roadblocks in the way
There's none.
because, you know, it was from what we understand, a major issue about construction.
No, I actually went to the planning department and asked specifically where the construction line was going to be, if it was going to encroach into the city parking, and it is not. So there's no, you're not going to, the bar is going to move from where it is to across the street.
Right.
There's going to be construction. I would think that construction going on would also get the, you know, the nosy neighbors.
Yeah.
The people, you know, you're walking around, you can come over, walk the market, see what's going on in construction. So, I mean, that would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Commissioners?
I guess I didn't understand that there would be such little impact in construction. I think that's a fine idea.
Fantastic idea. I believe that location on Madeira Way, there's a lot of foot traffic there, and I'd love it
Yeah.
here, but the visibility is just not there, you know?
Right, right. I mean, you know, today I just arrived at the end of the market. We had, you know, some vendors did pretty well, but as you can see, I mean, we had a full parking lot on the opening day, and now we're down to just a handful. And, you know, it's not enough for us to sustain our expenses for operation. And we certainly want to do whatever we can to hang on to it and keep building it because, you know, as the city grows and develops more and different events happen, you know, we'd love to be a part of that. We'd love to, you know, help make Madeira even more fun to come and enjoy. And there's lots that our company can provide for you guys over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Dog friendly also.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
What level of insurance do you have?
So we carry a $2 million policy.
Is that for incidentals?
Yeah, I don't have, I'm sorry, I should know that right off the bat, but we have submitted our insurance to Parks and Rec, and we definitely have the insurance that's required to be there.
Okay, all right, thank you for that.
Yep.
How about cleaning? Do you have a crew that cleans after?
Yes, so our market management team, you know, is responsible for helping with Parks and Rec to, you know, dispose of trash. We try to make sure the vendors pick up all their trash and do the right things and
That's
dispose
all
of
at
things
your
in the
own
right
cost,
area.
right? All that cleaning's at your cost,
Yes.
okay? Restrooms, where?
That is one of the things that's great about the City Hall location, which we would be really sad to miss, is the fact that we have this beautiful restroom right here for customers to use. So we don't get that down on Madeira Way, but
So how do you facilitate?
we've had the restaurants nearby and the bar, you know, they offer restroom over there.
You don't do porta potties, right?
No.
Okay. Do you, I mean, this is your system, your market, right? And you are obviously collecting dollars. Do you pay any funds to the city?
Not at this time. We haven't really been able to sustain 40 or so vendors, you know, so the expenses are pretty high right now for marketing and whatnot. Yes, please.
So the city has an active contract with the market that addresses the insurance, the restrooms, the payments to the city, the relocation, which is why we're here. With the location, when it was on Madeira Way, there was a payment for the staff time to help set up the market. At this current location, we just lay out the cones and everything, and they set it up as they arrive. So we have not been charging them because the staff time is not comparable to what it takes for us to set up the market when it is on Madeira Way.
So I'm very familiar with this sort of system, and, you know, and at some point, you know, you're using the city facilities at no cost, you're using our land at no cost, and so forth and so on. So
Yeah.
at some point, I would like to at least consider some sort of a fund to the city.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And I'm very much open to that.
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's a great attraction to the city. Many years ago, how long have you been involved with it?
So we started this market, it was previously run by a different manager, and we proposed to take it over in 2021, but it was just a year after COVID, and it was a big uphill battle. And we had a good couple of seasons there, you know, I would say 2022, 2023 was really good. And then, you know, hurricane, and we had some construction, and got bounced around a little bit. So we haven't had an ultimate season yet for the market. But the vendors, you know, they're hanging in there. We used to have produce sales. We can't get enough foot traffic to generate someone to come back regularly, weekly, to sell produce.
Yeah.
We even offered the space to the produce vendor for free. But, you know, the goal is to make it successful enough to be able to contribute to the city.
Yeah,
For
I think
sure. I mean,
is
that's the goal.
It's a great attraction.
Right.
I-
You know, we operate the Dunedin Downtown Market every Friday and Saturday.
It brings in people from
Yeah.
neighboring cities.
Sure.
It sure does, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
it's a
that.
great thing, you know, but there's a
but-
lot of things that have to be in place to make sure that it is successful and the wheel is running and that the money is flowing.
Did anyone tell you you had to move?
Yes. The Parks and Rec Department was under the impression that the construction was going to take place on Madeira Way, and we had to move it, so we moved it
So
to City Hall.
it has to move, or?
It is moved.
No, but I agree with the mayor's suggestion that it moved back, but if it had to move, why did it have to move? That's my question. Is that an option? That's my question.
I mean, based off the conversations that I've had, I didn't understand why we moved. I don't understand why we can't go back.
So Jay and I sat and discussed this with, I believe it was you, correct? Or another associate of yours for the market. And at the time we had spoken to the developer, and they had the estimated timeline of December. And we were under the impression as well that the construction was going to bleed into Madeira Way off of those conversations.
Yeah.
I think we need to get a better
I
look at that.
I had a conversation with Marcy about it, so.
Yeah, the mayor approached me like last week, and I pulled up the site plan and just looked at where the silt fence location was, and it's all, as is typical on a construction site, maintained within the property limits. So
Right.
that's where the construction fence is now. Construction activities as far as, you know, deliveries, concrete trucks coming through and things like that, like the routing of all that, that'll be discussed closer to
But
issuing the
we're-
permit construction time. But, you know, those things, you know, could possibly have an impact, but the construction itself is maintained within the property limits.
But that's something that coordination with the contractors, we're talking about 6 hours a week roughly with setup and breakdown or
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
Correct. That they should be able to coordinate that.
We can discuss that, yeah, with them.
Okay.
I'm in support of it going. I think we all are, based off this
Yeah,
conversation.
no, I mean, I
Going
love
back.
the market, and I'd love to see it do better.
Right.
And eventually Madeira Way, when that hotel's built, we don't know what that's going to look like. That may just
Right.
be pedestrian, so it still may be a great option for you
Right.
to keep, you know, traffic won't be using that any longer. I don't know. I mean, it's all
Right.
conceptual at this point,
Yep,
time,
yep.
so.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time
Thank
to
you.
hear it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Great job.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is City Attorney, Special Magistrate lien at 703 Sunset Cove, Madeira Beach, case number 24-233. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. As you can see from the memorandum that's in the agenda packet, the city prosecuted a code enforcement case on the property located at 703 Sunset Cove. The property owner installed a HVAC system without obtaining a building permit. The special magistrate gave the property owner some time to bring the property into compliance, and if not, a $100 a day fine would be instituted. He did not bring the property into compliance timely. In fact, 88 days passed after the compliance deadline. Therefore, a fine of $8,800 plus interest is due on the property. As of October 28, 2025, when we did the calculation, it was $8,854.22 was the outstanding lien. The city has received a request to waive the lien completely by the property owner and the property owner's attorney. The recommendation of city staff is to reduce the fine down to $2,000 to cover staff time in prosecuting the case and handling the release of this lien. We're asking that if you do reduce it, reduce not lower than $2,000 if paid within 30 days. If it's not paid within 30 days, the fine should revert back to the original dollar amount. I will also tell you that last night I received an email from the attorney representing the property owner, and it says, the attorney says that his client is agreeable to paying the $2,000 and they're ready to make payment. Frankly, I was surprised to get the email because it doesn't really matter what he was willing to agree to pay. The lien is $8,800 and he's going to either pay it unless it's reduced by you. But I wanted to give you that update. The attorney said that they'd love to pay the $2,000 being recommended by the city staff. So I just need direction from you, if that's acceptable or not, or discussion about it, and then ultimately we'll come back to you at a regular meeting for official action to be taken.
Do we have any public comment?
Chuck Dillon, 529 Lillian Drive. Here once again, we've been going through these things many times. We have the system in place, and if you decrease it to the amount of the $2,000, what do we have the magistrate for? I mean, this is kind of a little bit different circumstances, and I don't know whether or not it was flood related, but yet you can't keep chopping the magistrate's hand off. I mean, there's a point where leniency is good, but yet what do we have the system in place for? So it's just, I didn't look at it completely, but yes, I mean, 8,800 maybe is excessive and they're accepting 2,000. Well, I mean, it's pittance. I mean, so we've been talking about this many times, and once again, I think possibly a little bit of a waiver on it, but I certainly wouldn't go to like the 2,000. That's excessively low, I believe. Thank you.
Do we have any additional public comment? Commissioners, do you have any comments?
I have more of a question, just want to make sure. So this was because he put the air conditioner in without pulling a permit. Don't we have penalties that they pull the permit and they pay an additional fee, $500 or whatever, it's a penalty, and it goes away?
So there's usually a 5 times after the fact permit.
Okay. And what is that? What's an air conditioning permit run?
It would be a percentage of the value of the work, and then 5 times that is what the permit fee would be.
So why did
How
it
that
go to
would
the special
dealt with.
magistrate? I don't understand.
They never pulled the permit.
Yeah.
What they did was they removed the air conditioner unit instead.
So he removed the air conditioner.
Right. According to the attorney's letter that's in the packet.
Okay, I read it. I could have looked over that. A lot to read, excuse me. So he elected to remove the air conditioner. Okay, I didn't pick up on that.
So I went back and looked. This commission has voted on reducing a lien in the past. In July of last year, we had someone come before us with a $96,000 lien, and we did reduce it by 50%. So I agree with the comments made that if we're going to just waive and say, well, whatever staff had in it, that's all we're going to charge, or we're going to waive or whatever, then why do we have a special magistrate? What is the purpose of that? And when you go before the special magistrate, you could right then become compliant. If you didn't pull a permit, you were notified you didn't pull a permit, you could have just pulled the permit. So I don't know how I feel about what we should do. That's not my point in making this statement, but in July of last year, we reduced a $92,000 fine, to $46,000.
May I?
Yes, please.
Okay. In that case, I voted not to reduce it at all. And it was absurd. I mean, it's
Yep,
at $96,000. I get it. But the reason being is that the homeowner basically gave the city the middle finger, and said, I don't care what you do. I'm going to sit on this for, I think it was years. Hurricane Helene came, wiped his kitchen out, so he removed the kitchen, and then said, well, came to the board and said, well, I removed the kitchen. Okay, well, it wasn't any good anymore anyway. And we've reduced the fine. That's why I said we should not reduce that fine at all. In this case, he didn't pull a permit. Everybody, after the storm, you're doing things. Some people did things without permits. I'm not endorsing that, but in retrospect, and I don't know why he didn't do it, just pay the fine 5 times the permit, pull the permit, have an inspection done, and it's done. But he elected not to do that. I can't see why the fine should be any more than what that should be. And if that's $2,000, I think I'm fine with that, $2,000. And that's my reasoning why.
My thoughts were, I had remembered that summer decision of 50%, and so my brain just went there, well, if we're going to reduce it, we have precedence for that. I tend to be too lenient, but I feel like that's fair. Like 50%.
50%.
Yes, also, I agree with that. I mean, looking at Mr. Baker and what he went through, basically, it was also a mold issue. I really don't think he was thumbing his, at the city, but I would agree with 50%. I'm fair with that.
Yeah, me too, 50%.
Okay. I will follow. Okay, anything else?
I think the 2,000 is fine, but that's just me.
Okay, then next on the agenda is the city manager search update.
All right, Mayor and Commission, as you know, the job posting with Renee's firm closed on the 26th. She began reviewing all the applications. She's still in the process of vetting and making sure that everyone meets the minimum qualifications. And as of the closing date, we had approximately 40 applications. Pretty solid number, in my opinion. For the timeline, Renee would like to make recommendations to the board on February 18th. She would like to have interviews or be part of the process for the interviews with the board on March 4th. The only, I guess, sticking point is the elections are on March 10th. So with the potential of having a new commissioner, should we postpone the March 4th interviews until after the election? That way, if there is, in fact, a new commissioner, they feel like they are part of the process. Another aspect, I believe, is it's all public record. Providing that candidate with all the same information as the board gets for the city manager search, it's public record. It's just kind of backwards. We're giving it to them versus them making the request. And please correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Trask.
No, that's correct. So if Mr. Dillon wanted to, he can receive any information that the rest of the commission would be receiving. And he could also be in attendance when the interviews took place here. He could hear the questions and the answers. He wouldn't necessarily be able to ask questions, though, as he's not a commissioner at that point, until after the election. Then we would know who the actual commissioner is.
And if we went that route, that would keep the process moving as well. Okay.
Is there any significance to March 4th?
No, that was just Renee's timeline that she submitted to me.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm in favor of keeping it moving along. And I believe that Chuck or Mr. Dillon can be, be present and of the interviews. And then because we wouldn't choose the top candidates until probably after the election.
Yeah.
So then he would be able to be a part of that if he was elected, or Vice Mayor Kerr would still be sitting here and a part of that,
Exactly.
whatever happens.
Everybody would have the same
Everybody
information.
would have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement
Agreed.
with the mayor.
Do you have any public comment?
Thank you. I would most certainly be okay with the idea of getting the information and then keeping it on the 4th. Absolutely. I mean, so keep the ball rolling so that if indeed I would get elected, I wouldn't want to hold up that time frame.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any additional public comment? Okay.
Mayor?
Yes,
Are we
ma'am.
asking for a special meeting to do that on the 4th? Before the regular meeting?
I did not.
Isn't the 4th a Sunday?
Wednesday, March the 4th?
Oh, it's Wednesday.
It's our regular
It's our regular
meeting.
meeting.
Yes.
Like maybe do it at 2 or something like that? I don't know how many you're going to interview.
I think we should start all meetings every time at 2 o'clock.
So what I can do is I can contact Renee and just,
Find out.
make sure we work out all those details.
Because I'm wondering how long does she think that's going to be? Like,
The
how much
interviews.
time would she need and all that? And what I don't want to do is come into a regular meeting at 6 o'clock after we've been here for 4 hours and then sit for 4 more hours for a
Agreed.
meeting. I think we should be mindful of that, but depending on what she thinks for the time frame, and then maybe what's on our agenda.
Yeah, absolutely.
for our
And
regular
if a
meeting.
special meeting is warranted, we
Yes,
can
we
send
should
out dates as
definitely.
well.
Yep.
They usually allocate so long for each candidate.
Mhm.
I'm available.
Hmm?
I'm available all day.
I am also, so I would be
Perfect.
whatever we need to do. Awesome. Next on the agenda is the city photographer contract quotes. City manager?
Well, Mayor and Commission, what we did is we've essentially been using one specific photographer, Jeremiah. Everybody's familiar with him since after the storms, and it just kind of got to the point where we were like, hey, let's call Jeremiah. We have an event, and then we realized that we have gone over the $30,000 threshold. He wasn't under contract at the time, and so we just want to keep everything above board. Megan Powers did a great job. She reached out to 3 photographers. Only 2 of them responded, and they are Jeremiah and St. John Creative Photography. You can see their contracts, or their estimates anyways. And Jeremiah, he came in the lowest. And so we're just asking, or putting it on here for discussion for the board to discuss for the next meeting.
Do we have any public comment? Commissioners?
Based on his experience with the city, I've worked with him, we've all worked with him, and he's the lowest cost. I'm fine continuing with his use.
Staff recommends continuing, low cost. Sounds pretty good to me.
I agree with that.
Yes.
I'll go along with the staff's recommendation.
Awesome. Then next on the agenda is community development, ordinance 2026-02, non-conforming time limitations. Will you read this, City Attorney?
It's,
Or is this just for discussion?
it's
Oh,
really
it's
for
just
just discussion. It's in the packet, though. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Good evening, good afternoon. So in our land development regulations, in our non-conforming section, we have something that gives time limitations for how long people have to repair their houses that were flooded. Right now, it says 18 months. We haven't prepared for that. We haven't really warned people. So what we have in the packet is a recommendation on how we can reword that. And the current recommendation is to extend that from 18 months, all work. Right now it says all work has to be completed within 18 months. We would propose to change that to you have to have a permit issued within 2 years for Helene and Milton. And that's based on the discussion we had with the Planning Commission. This is our first time discussing it with you guys. It's also going to go back before the Planning Commission. We have time to do that before it comes to you guys for an actual voting meeting. So this is more to bring it, first of all, bring it to everyone's attention, get some feedback on if this is the route that everyone wants to go. And then if it is, then we would start pushing, making it more aware to the public that there's a time limit on pulling permits, which would hopefully incentivize a lot of people to that either did unpermitted work or haven't done any work, which is about half of the properties in Madeira Beach, to kind of get the ball rolling. The goal, if we move forward with this ordinance, is within the 2 years, so that would be September 25th, 2026. The goal would be that, which is what FEMA wants, is for every pre-firm, so every house that's at grade, to either have a permit or have some kind of record that they're going to be building new or elevating or have a violation open.
Do we have any public comment?
John Lipa, 399, 150th. I think it's great to give them more time, because right after the hurricane, we try to get contractors over. It takes forever. And the ones who come, when you're right after the hurricane, you're paying premium dollars. So the more you can give the homeowner, he's going to spend a lot of money if he has to elevate the house anyway. You know, more time to find the right contractor and with some good prices would be good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Lewis. My wife and I have a triplex on 129th Avenue East. I just wanted to make a comment. Dealing with the grants that are available, the Elevate Florida, they were asking, please don't do any contracts, don't start any work. There's the other Pinellas County grant that's going on right now. They're asking the same thing. So you may have a bunch of residents that are not doing work because they're waiting to hear back from the grants. So that I would take into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any additional public comments? So Marcy, or Joe, I have a question. Would there be we vote for this and we pass it, and then there's a situation like that somebody can't meet this deadline because they're waiting on grants, would we be allowed to offer them an exception or a way around it?
So just to clear up, just for the public comment, so this would only be for people that are repairing the existing home. So people that are building new and elevating, the code does not have any time limitation since it was declared a disaster area. We wouldn't be changing that. So there's unlimited time if you're going to be elevating. But the way we have it written right now, we would have to approve a permit for a remodel within 2 years for them to be able to remodel, but there's no time limit for building new or elevating.
Okay. Any comments, Commission?
Well, I've wavered back and forth. I mean, I see every day how hard it is, but I also see how much of nothing is happening. So I don't want to reward people who are taking advantage of the difficulties. On the other hand, I do see the complications that are going on, and I would be in favor of extending to 2 years. But but let's start looking at going much farther.
This is basically FEMA guidelines.
Actually, it's not, we don't get any CRS credits for this ordinance. So technically, it's not really a FEMA guideline. It's technically in our, not even our flood code. But it does help with FEMA when they want to audit the city. They pick random properties that are built before the flood maps were adopted, and they want data on like what's going on with this property. So it helps with that, but it's not directly a flood ordinance, if that answers your question.
Anything we can do to help the residents, I'm in favor of.
I'm also in favor of extending that to 2 years.
Yes, for me.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Johns Pass Village Parking Garage discussion.
So Andrew's going to talk to you a little bit about this, but during one of the previous meetings, you guys had asked us to kind of revisit the parking garage and get that back on our radar. So with that, we did pull up a little bit of the historical information that we were able to find, and we've engaged Kimley Horn to prepare a proposal for us for a feasibility study. So that will be forthcoming. We should probably have it any day now and be able to present that to you guys. We focused on the 2 locations, Johns Pass and then the 130th location. So we prioritized those 2. But in speaking to them, we said, you don't have to do it with your head in the sand too. If there's another spot or somewhere else that we should be thinking of or talking about, we would like to, bring that forward as well. And I also know that during some of the previous meetings, Dylan Hubbard's been in conversation with Justin at FDOT about some possible exit routes from a parking garage if it were to go at the Johns Pass park location. So I did reach out to Justin, leave him a message, and we'll put him and Kimley Horn in touch as well to make sure they're all on the same page with what flexibility and options that we can capture there.
Do we have any public comment? Commission?
Mayor, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. I'm not going to say I'm in favor of one or the other at this point, but I have had discussions with a couple of residents in District 1 who live right on the Johns Pass Park parking lot. They're concerned about their view. So as we give this to Kimley Horn, which I'm strongly in favor of, let's make sure that that's a strong consideration of the people who have a view of Johns Pass.
Absolutely. Yep.
Andrew, did you have anything to add?
Sorry.
Attached to the memo, I attached a previous parking garage memo from the previous Public Works Director from January 15th, 2021. That had a hand drawing, and then the resolution 2022-02 that dedicated 50 cents of our parking revenue to study or building a parking garage within half a mile of Johns Pass Village. And then I included some the zoning and future land use info in the memo.
Currently in that 50-cent budget, we have 1.5. In the budget or the line item we have for the 50 cents, we have 1.5 million currently in there.
So there won't actually be a vote on anything
Not today.
at the board meeting.
Right.
Because you're still getting information, so this will be put on the next workshop?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, if I,
Well, yes, please.
did you need to get public?
I
think
did.
You already did. So in my opinion, I think there are other ways to build the parking garages than us directly paying. We can give incentives to developers that come in and would like to develop properties. Let them pay the bills, design it, construct it, and we can enjoy the spaces that they could place in the parking garages that they would be building. whether it's John's Pass, whether it's, there's another piece of property right here on Gulf Boulevard, just south of 150th. There are several properties that I would love to enjoy encouraging developers to build the parking garages, and us can give them some sort of an incentive. Now, I looked in here, and I saw in one location that it cost like almost $1 million just to design the building, just design the parking garage. That's ludicrous. That's absolutely amazing. So I would like to suggest this board to think about this very seriously and very carefully. We can't just go and spend money on things that we can save and we can be creative. Thank you.
Commissioner, if I could just say, having attended the Johns Pass Village Merchants meetings, we would get strong opposition, I think, from building that parking lot anywhere else except near Johns Pass Village.
Well, I think as part of the resolution, when the previous commission voted on that 50 cents, they put it in writing, it has
Right.
to be.
And of course, I
there.
question having a private developer, what, do we get to regulate how much they charge? Because that's a big problem at Johns Pass Village. They're very concerned of the private parking lots and what they charge in comparison with the city.
Those can be condition of approvals, and I'm not stating anything in here. I'm not reinventing the wheel. There are a lot of projects that have been built. Clearwater Beach, many projects have been built like this. We can contact the developer team and the city and see how they did it. We don't have to give it a lot of thoughts. It's already been done.
I'm all about synergy between city and private developers.
Yes.
I just wanted to say out loud, that parking lot needs to be near Johns Pass Village.
I think, yes.
The resolution says I think it has to be within a half a mile. But it has to be right down to John's Pass Village.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about many parking garages that can
Right.
be built.
My pushback, if I may, is that parking revenue is our second largest revenue source. We need to increase that. So if we need to take a loan to build a parking garage, it's great, because somewhere down the line, that return on investment is going to be just a net profit. If we have someone build it,
On their property.
He's
On their
talking about
property.
getting a developer, giving.
but
an
I'm saying, then we won't, the city won't
Right.
receive any revenue from that.
Well, it's a condition. You give incentives, whether it's density intensity, whether it's break on setbacks, whether it's in height. You can give incentives to developers to build a building that they would enjoy building. However, they would have to contribute to parking spaces for this town, and how it's charged is subject to what we would all agree on.
Right, so what you're stating is more, not just a parking garage, but I'll say at a condo or whatever that has parking, that they want to do a PD, and instead of being restricted to their 5 stories, they want to go to 7. But we let them do that because the city's going to get revenue from the parking.
Yes.
I'm open for that. But just to build a garage, then I think, I'm all about the parking revenue.
Yes.
Personally.
I mean, a developer currently has that option of presenting a plan, right? Already, they can do that at any time. But as Commissioner Kerr says, I just like a parking garage. Right.
It's all about the revenue.
Yeah.
That the city's gonna appreciate for decades.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is fire. Discussion and approval of contractual agreement with Tampa Bay Psychology Associates.
All right, Mayor and Commission, this is the Tampa Bay Psychology agreement that we entered into last year. It was good for 1 year, bringing it back for approval. The only change we've had is that the counseling sessions went from $150 to $165 per hour, and each session is usually about an hour. Obviously, you know how important mental health is. We host a 5K regarding first responder mental health. When Dr. Benson came here and presented this contract last year, she stated we were the very first department on the beaches to go under contract and one of the first in all of Pinellas County. So we're very proud of that. And we're just asking for approval, well, at the next meeting.
Do we have any public comment? Commissioners?
I totally agree that we need to renew this agreement. I think that we have a great fire department here, and whatever they need, we need to back them.
Thank
So
you.
I totally agree with renewing this contract.
I agree that we have the best fire department. Just
Thank
one
you.
question. What would be the budget? What would be the total?
Last year, it was roughly 7,000 we spent. We have a little over half of the department that has at least utilized the services once. I don't get their names. I just get a number and then a bill attached to it. They do provide, after a major call such as the one the other evening, critical incident stress debriefing where they'll come out 24 hours a day. They'll come out, they'll sit, kind of decompress with everybody and, get them through that high acuity call. So it was roughly 7,000 last year. Those are a la carte type of services. That's an additional fee. We have not had to utilize those yet, but.
So for the knowledge of public, would you just discuss with us as far as, having been out there to fight the fire, what sort of an effect it can have in your mental capability?
I always say a good day for us is a bad day for the residents. We're proud of the job we did. We're out fighting the fire. Just this morning, cutting a resident out of the car on 183rd and Gulf Boulevard. You see the human body in ways nobody should ever see it on some of these calls. Again, when you go and put that fire out, we're happy. We're proud of our job, and then you see the resident, and they just lost everything. And so I always say God granted me the blessing of a short-term memory to do this job, but after 24 years, it does start to add up. And it affects everybody differently. Some people, it affects them within a few years, few months. We've had people leave the fire department after less than a year. They realize the job's just not for them, and the job isn't for everybody.
Thank you.
I'm glad to find out that we're trailblazers in the area of mental health for our fire department, and I hope we can continue to be that, to do so. Let's continue this.
Vice Mayor, do you have any comments?
No, I support it 100%. I'm sorry.
I support it 100%. Yes, and I think it's fantastic that they're utilizing it. So.
As the first year went on and the numbers started to increase a little bit, I was amazed. I was happy that they're actually using the service that's provided. There's a stigma attached to it, and you're weak or whatever it may be, but that culture over there is second to none. They utilize it. They talk about it.
I shared with you that, I've had the honor of being able to be included in the fire department and spend some time with them and have conversations that I'm not a first responder in any capacity, so I would have no way to frame some of the conversations that I've had and that have been shared with me, but you can't unsee it. And so they get up every day and they're prepared to protect or save, and they risk a lot. They risk a lot beyond just their life. They have a family. They have, just the mental. So I think it's fantastic. I think it was fantastic that you found the group and that it is working out so well.
Absolutely.
And I'll be happy to vote yes.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Public Works Building Conceptual Rendering Discussion.
Next few items are Public Works Director Megan Wetfer.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Sorry, I'm short. So what I have in front of you, I'm going to pull up a video. I believe you all have seen there are 3 different options for the current location of our Public Works building. So I do have, my personal favorite would be option number 3. So our architect has created kind of like a flyover, if you will, of what the 3D version of that building would look like. So you see it more than just what you see on the pictures that you have in front of you. So the building will have 4 bays. 3 of those bays will be to service our regular trucks, anything from the F-550s to the F-150s or similar. And then the 4th bay that you see will be for fire and garbage trucks. So that's why it's taller. After Hurricane Helene, we decided that it would be in our best option to have a 2nd story and have most of our critical, like our break area and my office upstairs on that 2nd story to ensure that we do not lose items. The 1st story will be dry flood proofed, same that we've done over at the Snack Shack. And we're also going to elevate the structure as much as we can with the site that we have. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have any public comment?
Got a question. John Lipa, 399 150th. Megan, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Where are you proposing this?
In our current location, 505 150th Avenue.
505, okay. When you say the building with the sanitation trucks in one bay, can you just talk about what goes on in that?
You have to have it in the microphone. or
I'm sorry.
It's not going to pick up.
I'm sorry.
It should not be a question and answer period. It
Right,
should be
can't,
statements.
she can't do Q&A with you, but if you'll state your questions, then the commission will discuss them.
The bay with this, you said there's 4, the big bay, the higher bay with the sanitation trucks. What goes on in that bay?
Do we have any additional public comment?
One thing I don't know that I could see, but I worked for a construction company, and one of the things that they had that was very beneficial was a pit. So having one of the bays as a pit where you could go in, drive in, and check stuff underneath the vehicle, where you don't have to lift it up to look at it. So just, little words of thought.
Any additional public comment? Commission? So,
Megan, can you tell me, I think you said you had a preference for option 3?
Correct.
Is that an aesthetic thing, or there's things about that you like?
It is an aesthetic.
Oh, it's an
I
aesthetic.
think that one, to me personally, I like the architectural look of that one.
And just out of curiosity, is there a pit in any of those bays?
There is not. We will have a vehicle lift.
You have a vehicle lift. And can you say again what the purpose of that the higher one is for?
So we will continue to rent space over off of 94th Street for the storage of the garbage trucks and an office space for sanitation. The 4th bay is because the mechanic will be moving over onto the island. The mechanic is currently housed over off of 94th Street. So the mechanic will be moving onto the island, which will be servicing fire trucks, garbage trucks. That is what that bay will be.
So it's for service. Are you suggesting that there won't be garbage trucks living there?
There will be no garbage trucks stored there, but they will, on occasion, if we are in high peak season, they will be there for the day for a swap out, because it is a lot easier to swap out when they're on the island than it is to run all the way over on Bay Pines
And
to
can you
grab a truck.
explain what a swap out is again?
So on a heavy day, we will fill up 2 garbage trucks on a commercial. So rather than spending, because it can take an hour round trip to get over to Bay Pines depending on the time, rather than taking that time, we have a truck on the island already ready to go go and swap out.
Okay. But again, in most cases, the garbage trucks won't live there.
They will not live there, but they are in and out of our yard multiple times a day.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional comments or questions?
No.
Commissioners?
So basically the bays, when the trucks, and it's for mechanical reasons, right? Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And then, will the trash or the sanitation trucks, when they come in, obviously they'll be cleaned before, correct? As far as,
If they're being serviced,
yeah,
they will be cleaned, but if they're in emergency repair
emergency
situation,
repair.
they are oftentimes full of garbage. We have situations where they go up to the dump and they're not able to dump them, so then they have to come back to be repaired for whatever the issue may be, a hydraulic or a motor. There's
Emergency repairs.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Will this building be metal?
No, the building will be concrete. The material that you see is kind of like what we have outside, like a metal sheathing, but that can change.
Okay, because I worry obviously about rusting.
Correct.
How high are you anticipating the floor elevation to be?
Are you talking for elevation?
Floor.
I believe, well, I don't have the exact numbers yet. We're still working through. We're trying to go at least 12 to 18 inches if we can work it in the site.
I think you can. I've looked at the site, and of course, you'd have to go back and transition the asphalt
And we will.
to the building.
Mhm.
Maybe 50 feet, maybe 60 feet, you'd have to go and make that transition. And as far as sewer availability, there's sewer available, right? You can just
Correct.
tap into
There
it.
used to be a building on this property. Back in the early 2000s, the commission at the time decided to demolish the Public Works building because it needed a new roof. So they chose to not replace the roof, but to demolish the building.
Okay. And it is not fire sprinkled, right? You don't need to sprinkle it?
We are in the very early stages of planning the design out on this building. If that, I'm not sure if that's a requirement. If it is, then we
Yeah,
will
it'll go through its life safety plan review.
Okay. Will you be putting any goose traps?
If that's a requirement. Typically, we
Okay.
only have grease traps where there's rental spaces here
Okay.
or at the fire department. We don't have one inside like City Hall in the break room. So
And
more than likely no.
what's the height from the ground, not from DFE, but from ground? Do you know what?
I
the
don't
height-
have that at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Megan, how long ago do you remember that we approved you to go forward with this? I mean, it wasn't just last month. We gave the approval.
April of 2025, I believe it was.
That's about what I thought. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So next on the agenda is Johns Pass Jetty sidewalk design discussion.
Sorry, let me switch gears really quick. Hello again. You're going to see me a few more times. So what I've prepared for you all, because we've been talking about the sidewalk and how we're going to proceed. I've given you a kind of an action plan of how I foresee this going, but I need direction from the board before I can proceed with any design. So direction on, are we going to replace it in the same footprint of which it was? And if there are requirements to bring it to ADA, then we will obviously add that into the plan. Or do we want to completely change the design? So I'm really just here for discussion and how we proceed.
Do we have any public comment? Commission?
I've had a couple of emails real quick that stated that they'd like to see the original design back with it being ADA compliant, with whatever that means, with the railing. But the original one, everyone loved that. So I'd like to keep it simple, you know.
Thank you.
The only feedback I've gotten is, as Commissioner McGee says, they want it back the way it was.
I'd just like to see some grants start to be processed at this point of what we expect the design and construction to look like, assuming, I would say, Commissioner McGeehan, what was there before, bring it up to ADA, and start that grant process.
We will work on that. If there are funds for design for grants, I think most of the grants that we are aware of are for construction.
Okay.
But we are aware, but we need a direction. So once we have that direction, we will proceed.
I just don't want to see this on, if we can avoid it. I mean, that's been right from the businesses down there, pushing for this. It's with the knowledge that there's plenty of grant opportunities for this type, for fishing and for piers and this type of project. And I'd like to see that explored as much as possible before we go too far.
Absolutely.
Yes. I would like to see the sidewalk to be widened to 8 feet, possibly 10 feet.
I don't think we can. I think that.
You have to build it back
We
to
have
how
to
it
build
was.
it back the way it was. If there's any chance in us getting the permit, or the only way we're going to get the permit is to put it back just the way it was originally with ADA if required, because that's what the discussion we had last time was on the extending it, extending it is a 25-year process. Doing anything different is going to take years and years and years. We can get a permit to put it back the way it was, and once Megan has the drawings and we approve all of that, then Dylan Hubbard has already offered to partner to help with the grants and the opportunities that he would share of things that he knew in keeping that we don't miss anything. Megan's already aware of many things. He had input also. So I think there's a good collaborative effort from the businesses in Johns Pass and from the city to work together to put back what was taken out, but not to do anything different.
I understand, Mayor, and I hear you. Now, how many permits do we need to get? A portion of it I know is in the city. Then beyond that is probably the state.
FDEP, Army Corps, regulatory, Army Corps,
I don't
Section
think Army
408.
Corps is involved.
Yes, they are, unfortunately. We've had pre-app meetings with both regulatory and 408.
All right, so where is that demarcation line relative to the pavement where the city ownership stops? And we would have to conform to DEP or Army Corps.
Anything that is seaward of the coastal construction control line
Yes?
prompts all of that.
All
This is all seaward
How
of the
far is
coastal.
that from that CCC line? How far is that from the
The coastal construction control line in Johns Pass Park, part of our asphalt is seaward of the coastal construction control line. So this structure is, I would say, at minimum 20 feet seaward of the coastal construction control line. If I don't know that I'm able to pull up Pinellas County Property Appraiser, but if you take a look at it.
So it used to be 6 feet, right? The width of the sidewalk?
No, the sidewalk down there was 8 feet, if not wider.
Okay, so 8 feet is, 8 feet is good. So we can rebuild it 8 feet all the way to seaward of CCC line to where it used to be.
That is correct.
And then as far as like having an area for maybe some people that are getting married or they like to enjoy the sunset, we couldn't add some sort of a circular area where they can put some seats out there and maybe an umbrella to enjoy the sunset. Can that?
I would say that they would be able to utilize the beach for that.
Well, I hear you, but sometimes on the pavement, on concrete, I mean, I've seen people get married, in an area. Anyway, I'm just bringing that up for just for ideas.
I think based off of all the conversation and information is that I've heard is that once we say, okay, move forward with getting a drawing and design for the sidewalk, and Megan can go in for permitting for that, all of doing other things is secondary to this. Once we have the permit, then we could, okay, well, we would like to add on this or add on that, do something different,
Yeah, I would suggest
but
just,
not to convolute.
yeah, at the next meeting after discussion, if the direction is to move forward with the sidewalk, then let's just do the sidewalk and we can explore other projects as we move forward, not try to include it with the sidewalk. That's what I would suggest.
Because I think we all agree, if whatever, the community has given the input that they'd like to have something more there, but we've got to take small bites and do it one thing at a time. And hopefully that could be something that comes back with the list of projects that the staff is going to present us with so that we can determine and track, determine what's most important to the commission and get things going.
Okay. One thing I'm not for, to be honest with you, is handrails. Because if the sidewalk is, if the sidewalk's far enough from the rocks, then you don't need to have a handrail.
The sidewalk sits directly on top of the rocks. And while there is sand that is there now, if there is a drop off of, Marcy, do you know, the ADA?
30 inches. If it's 30 inches and,
I think-
well, you have seawalls that you don't put any handrails on, but.
That's treated different. So we specifically, when we had one of the pre-app meetings, and I don't recall if it was with FDEP or if it was Army Corps or even the county, that it will have to meet ADA requirements.
No, ADA, you meet ADA as far as the slope of the sidewalk.
No, you have to be handicap accessible.
Yeah, we have to ensure that a wheelchair or someone cannot
No,
fall
I hear
off
it,
of
but
the
if you're
structure.
if you're so close to the water on the rocks, I can understand why you'd need the handrail. But if it was further away from the rocks, then it gives you a flat area between the rocks, sandy, flat area, where you wouldn't need to worry about the handrail.
There isn't, unfortunately, a flat area. It will sit directly on top of the rocks with rocks off because it's a structure.
That's where you all want it, that's why. I know, that's the consensus.
In the meeting that we had with Army, I'm almost positive as Army Corps, they stated it has to go back exactly how it was, except ADA compliant with handrails. Al Carrier, the city's engineer, was in the meeting as well and guesstimated it would be roughly, 600 feet of handrails that are required. We can't tell Army Corps we're not going to do that, unfortunately.
Or they won't permit it, unfortunately. So, by all means, we absolutely have estimated that the handrails just themselves are going to cost roughly $150,000 to $200,000 just for the handrails. So if there is absolutely a way that we do not have to put them in, we will explore all those options. But by the meetings that we've had, we are 99%
Well, if you're building it
sure.
on the rock, I can see why you'd need it. But if you build it away from the rocks, again, I don't want to belabor this board, and we have choices, and we can explore those with the Army Corps and DEP and whatever. You can give yourself a bit of a flat area between the rocks and the sidewalk where you don't need a handrail. You can save that money, and also handrail on that side, to me, for fishermen, it just doesn't, I see a lot of people fishing off those rocks with their little fishing pole, and they're standing there and they're going like this, and somebody's behind them, and, the public safety could be in danger. So I like to really keep the fishermen on the rocks away from the sidewalk.
I would love to take you down there and kind of show you and explain, because the rocks,
I'm
where
there
you
every
see-
Saturday morning.
but where you see sand, there's not always sand there. And directly underneath that sand, those same rocks that are on that structure go out and go north approximately 30 plus feet, where we can't even put in posts there because we hit the rocks.
Yep.
So the sand comes and goes, part of the dredging. So that that's not really possible. And if we were, again, to move it and change what the substructure of that would be, we're talking about a completely different permitting status and design as well.
We had a previous sidewalk there before, right?
Directly on top of the rocks.
Okay, how thick was that sidewalk?
Approximately 6 inches, if not more.
and there were no anchors,
It's
just sat on it.
literally sat on top
But
of
it
the
survived
rocks.
for how many years?
I
For as
don't
long
know
as
when
we know.
exactly it was
For as
poured.
long as we know.
And that's why we're proposing
So,
that we put it
you know,
back.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that we're spending a lot of money for something that doesn't have to be, but that's just my piece, and let us move on.
Unfortunately, I don't think we have the flexibility, because obviously, ideally, if we could shift it away from the rocks such that we wouldn't need to spend the money on the railings, that would be an option, but I think that's off the table to get it permitted, because it has to go back where it was. They're not giving us any flexibility to achieve it another way. So basically, it goes back where it was, and because of where it was previously, then it triggers the requirement for the ADA. So it's not something that we were able to negotiate ourselves out of, unless we wanted to kill that permit and then go back through an entirely new permitting process, which would take years and may not even be feasible. So that's where we're locked in. I completely agree with you, because I had the same questions myself. But at the end of the day, because we're locked into the location, it then drives everything else.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcy.
Anything else? Next on the agenda is the Archibald Snack Shack update.
Good afternoon. So in follow-up to my last update during the regular meeting, there's really been no additional changes, with the exception of more sand has been removed from underneath. And so I did get a chance to hop in yesterday or the day before, and I will have visible access to most all the piling tops. So probably in the next week or so, I will hop down there. But that was just completed. So it looks really good, and we'll have a lot more visibility to the other piles and access to them. But again, the substructure looks good, so I don't think that's going to be an area. It will need some reinforcement, so there is some stuff we'll have to do underneath there. But it's in good shape and worth moving forward with. So with that, what you have in your packet, the next step for us is obviously go ahead and giving Kimley Horn the green light on doing the historical designation verbiage in our LDRs. This will not be specific to the snack shack, because we're adding it to our LDRs. It will be for the community as a whole, to give us options for this building as well as whatever future buildings if people wanted to pursue it. So it's just going to be added to the LDRs, and they gave us a cost estimate. As they provided it to us, it totals in at $54,000. What I asked them to do to provide us with some flexibility is for task 2 and task number 4, the actual contract that'll come before you for approval at the next meeting will be broken down such that in task 2, we'll have 4 meetings estimated at $2,500 a piece, which gets you to the 10 grand. But if we really only need 2 and things are going well, we'll have the option not to have all 4 meetings, which will lessen the cost of the contract. The similar approach was taken in task number 4, where if we don't need all the meetings, we will only get charged at $5,000 per meeting. So we'll be able to adjust those as part of how the contract is written up. So we'll move forward with the 54, but then, like I said, if meetings aren't required, those just get removed from the task.
Do we have any public comment? Commission?
I have a question. I know Kimberly Horn is our engineering company that we use. Do we bid anything out?
We have them under contract, I believe.
So they're part of our continuing services, so they're one of the engineering firms that we have listed.
I understand that, but is there any, can they just charge you anything they want to charge?
Well, so they gave us the task breakdown, and I had Catherine Yonkin review it. She has knowledge of having done historical stuff like that, and so I had her review it to kind of get a gauge as how she felt for the charging. And the one thing we both walked away with was, let's do the per meeting charge. But she felt like, with her understanding of the effort that's required, what goes into it, she didn't feel like it was too out of place. So
there's no competition. We're not putting them against any competition to keep them honest.
If I had felt like this wasn't where we were expecting it to be, then we would have absolutely gone out and reached out to some of the other sub-consultants. On the heels of having worked with them for the master plan and things like that, I really think they have a good feel for the community, how to engage with the community, connect with them. I think there's a sense of trust there too that we've built with them. So the amount that came in felt where we felt like it would land. So, but I mean, we could always do that. I just didn't want to belabor this topic any longer than it kind of has been, to be honest with you.
Also, not all of our engineering firms have historical designation background.
Correct.
So
Great point.
with every firm that we have, they all have different delegate
Skill sets and
Yeah.
things like that.
yeah,
So
disciplines that they all specialize in. We may use a different one for, say, a transportation or a different architectural, which we are. But they are historical. That they have experience in that.
Okay, thank you.
Marcy, I don't understand, maybe I didn't understand, historical designation for this property, but you're saying we could use that tool across the city? I'm not following this.
So because we're adding this into our land development regulations, the ordinance is being written to write the ordinance. It's not being written with in mind that we have to do the snack shack. So once this is adopted into our ordinances, it doesn't mean that in the future, it allows for in the future if somebody wants to come up and propose that their building meets an architectural or whatever standard and they would like to have it on the historical register that we've created, they could also do that. So but we don't have a mechanism right now by which to even do that. So it has to be in our LDRs first, the ability to designate buildings as historical before we can move forward with the snack shack. So what I was just getting at is this is being written into our LDRs it could be used if anybody wants to propose or pursue it. Doesn't mean you get it automatically, but it opens it up for other buildings to meet the criteria set forth.
So now it would be written into the LDRs. We still have to submit to the state for that specific property.
That is correct. We still have to go through the certificate of appropriateness and the application process, and they'll be helping us with that as well.
But we can't do that until this piece is finished? Is that correct?
Correct, yes. This has to be in our LDRs before we can.
So we won't be able to submit for months?
Correct. It's a 0 to 6 month process is what they're estimating to get this done. Whatever we can do simultaneously with this to have everything ready to go will be done. So we're not going to just sit there because we've already engaged with the architect. Megan set the meeting up, so we've already met with the architect about how we proceed forward and how we engage them. So we're trying to line this up such that we can get everything moving as soon as possible. But it will not be fully adopted into our LDRs for most likely 6 months.
Okay, on another path, is it feasible to elevate that a foot or two? I mean, is that even worth the conversation? I don't know. I would hate to see it flooded again.
Right. I mean,
right on the beach.
If that is, if we want to elevate it, that is, I mean, you see it going on all throughout the city. So if that is something that we wanted to get a cost estimate on, I'm sure, because all of the elevation contractors are very happy with me. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to go to the snack shack and take a look at it. But no, actually, I'm sure any of them would be more than willing to give me a professional opinion on the, what we gain from
like
it.
I
Is
said,
it
I'm not
feasible?
talking
What would
about
it cost?
taking it up 10 feet. I'm talking about a foot or two.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. 2 feet would make all the difference in the world at several locations. So we can put that into the mix and kind of at least give that to you as an idea. There's no, like you said, we're 6 months out from being historical, so we have some time
If it's not
to
worth
think about it.
That
discussing.
wouldn't affect the designation at all.
No, I just put it in your mindset, that's all.
The historical would be strictly because of the architectural features, the exterior of it. So even if we were to elevate it 2 feet but maintain that look, we still can go for the historical. So we can give it some thought.
Thank you.
So I have a question. Now that we know what's underneath the building, do we still feel like the repair is going to take us over the 50%? And would it warrant, now that we know where we're at, going back and getting the quote for repair to see where we're going to fall on that? I still want to do the historical designation
agreed.
for the future and all of that, but when now there are no questions. It's not we're not like guessing on it. You'll know exactly what you need to do because you know exactly what's there. So would it benefit us to go ahead and let's do another bid or get another scope of work, put it together, put it out to bid, and I mean, you'd be able to use that bid regardless, but to see if we could go ahead and repair the snack shack instead of waiting a year until we get,
think
I don't
it
know,
will.
I'm just,
And I'm only saying that because the previous bid came back at 223,000, roughly.
Right.
That did not include any of the hurricane strapping that needs to be done, and that we know that that is 45 pilings underneath the building. So yes, I believe it will still come back.
And there's some, like I said, there is some additional reinforcing that will have to be done underneath. But I think I wondered the same thing, but I think at the end of the day, I kind of felt like we were still going to be probably getting pretty close. But we can maybe get a little harder feel for those numbers, because our next step was to have the structural person who visited the first time. Now that we've uncovered it, I have my opinion, we have pictures, have them again lay their eyes on it, make sure we're on the same page, and then they can assess, okay, you're right, you do need the strapping, you do need some extra reinforcing here, sister boards here, whatever that looks like. We could look at it. I think I think we could end up being close to
We
get that.
also are going to pick the era in which we are going to designate it historical.
Correct.
So that could change. Windows need to be changed. We know that there were windows that were boarded up, that there were doors that were boarded up. So depending on the era in which we designate it historical, we're going to have to replace those items. So we really do need to, unfortunately, wait for the process.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point, Megan, because that's part of the historical process is when they review it, they pick the moment in time that we try to capture it, and that could drive door selection, window selection. Aesthetically, you're looking at predominantly the same building, but what we're trying to capture will drive some of the features that we do on the exterior.
and the ACV on it was how much? 800?
800s, yeah.
800
and something thousand?
Yes. I don't remember I think it was over 800.
That was over 800.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Tom and Kitty Stewart Park bathroom and post-storm update.
Hi again.
Hi.
So unfortunately, I was not able to get the exact number for the new restroom. And the reason for that being is because of the flood proofing that has to be done for that building. So that, as we know, is what has taken this long, is the engineering for the structural aspect of that building, what we're going to get the elevation up to for that bathroom, and now the flood proofing aspects for that restroom. I did just get it back that the restroom itself, which does not include the flood proofing, is going to be roughly $140,000. We are trying to decide if we are going to do same kind of panels that we have over at the snack shack, but this restroom is completely different, as you can see in your packet. I've put in there a drawing and a sample picture of what that building looks like. We picked out the exterior of this, and it's going to be stucco, just as a flat surface. If we wanted to proceed with putting a mural on it to kind of match the rest of our restrooms and areas. And also for when, unfortunately, it will probably get vandalized, and stucco is the most easiest to fix. This is going to be a very simple bathroom, 2 stalls with a plumbing chase. It is, I believe the finished floor is going to be at 9.3 feet. 9.3, 9.6, I don't recall. So we had to revise the site plan. The park is going to look virtually the same, except for an elevated bathroom, which leads us to have a ramp that is going to have to meet all ADA requirements, and then also a staircase. So when you were previously at the park and you were at the restroom, there were 2 like golf cart parking spaces and 1 compact. The building's going to change directions, so it's going to go north to south, because that's the most feasible way that the ramp was able to be done. So we will lose those parking spaces, unfortunately, but those, I don't know that the golf carts really ever paid for parking, so I don't believe we'll be losing any revenue from that. There is a high probability that the site plan should be completed next week. I will be able to get those out. As soon as I get the completed site plan, I should be able to get the bid out within a week. We are estimating approximately $750,000-ish because this includes the seawall. Unfortunately, the water line will have to be reran in the parking lot, and a huge majority of the pavers were dispersed and or ended up across the street. So we will have to fix the parking lot. We're going to salvage as much as we can. But we will probably have the park reopened before we have the restroom. So I think that that is probably the consensus, to get it open as soon as possible. And then whenever we are expecting that delivery of the restroom, they'll be able to come in, put it on the new slab, hook it up, and have the park closed for maybe 2 days at most. So I'm hoping that we can have that back open within, I would say, a bid process is approximately 4 months, plus or minus. We don't want to speed it up any more than that because we don't want to miss. Construction should only be 90 days. The seawall can go in within a week. I think the most difficult portion of this is going to be the structural aspect for the restroom. So idea is just to have it ready to plug and play as soon as that restroom is ready to be delivered.
Do we have any community input?
Chuck Dillon, 529 Lillian. First of all, if it's going to be taking that long, is there any way that we can get those 4 parking spots that are right next to Caddy's for the resident parking there? And in terms of golf carts, those golf cart spots were eliminated a long time ago. They were turned into a handicap. And I was not real happy about that, but anyway, if we could get the 4 parking spots that have a fence across them so that residents can utilize those, and especially since it's going to be probably 6-7 months that we're not opening, to be able to have residents use those. I don't know that the fence would have to be moved. Could possibly use those 4 parking spots as golf cart spots, or at least for sure resident parking. They're just empty right now, and I don't think that that would be much of a problem. Thank you.
Do we have any additional public comment? Commissioners?
You're suggesting the park, people have access to the beach before the bathroom is ready. So, and is that the six months you're talking about?
Once we issue the PO for the restroom, it's approximately 5 months before they can get it to us.
But
So
when are you suggesting that the
I'm
people will have
suggesting
access
we
to the
open the
park?
park as soon as it's constructed, and we're not waiting on the restroom.
So you're just talking about pavers and,
Correct.
so that's not 6 months.
The bidding process, as soon as I have the site plan back, hopefully next week, it'll take me approximately a week or so to put together the bid item. And then we have to follow the Florida statute, which I believe if it's over $250,000, the bid has to be open for 45 days.
Okay, so it's a bidding process we'll be waiting for at this point.
Correct. And I will try to time it perfectly to meet the workshops so we can discuss, and then the regular meeting for the contract approval. So we'll get that timeline together.
And once the park is open, which, if any, of these parking spaces would be available?
Once it's fully open,
Well,
all parking
I
spaces
understand
will be.
before the bathroom is installed, but once it's open, they'll all be available?
Correct.
Including, yeah.
Except for the location where you'll see on the aerial, that's a rough sketch. I did that, so it's approximate. Where the green
Yeah,
is that's the sidewalk.
okay.
So that, like the
All right,
ramp,
so
if
we're
you
we're
will.
not talking 6 months before access to the park or access to the parking spaces?
It's possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is possible, okay.
Yes. Yeah, because unfortunately, construction time, contract approval
Because of
time.
bid approval?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions?
No, actually, a great job. Thank you very much. And So February the 4th, you'll have pretty much the pricing.
I should, yes. I'm
Yeah.
only waiting on the flood proofing because our vendor, because of all of the rules and regulations with the flood proofing, they suggested that I contract with another company. So,
Okay, so
yes.
that's fantastic. And one more quick thing, just so that our community does know, okay? We are elevating this restroom, and in order to do that, I mean, that complies with the FEMA regulations, right?
That is correct.
That's
Yes.
correct.
And
right?
that is the reason why we've been held up for so long, getting the site plan revision, working with the bathroom contractor, and then also getting a structural engineer to do the structural part of that, the foundation.
So we comply with FEMA.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What's the final elevation, floor level?
The floor level is going to be at 9.3 plus or minus, so the building's going to have to be dry flooded proof to meet that 15-foot. I wanted to look at
That's
Marcy,
awesome.
make sure I'm saying that correct.
9-foot floor. I like it.
Realize that the elevation of the park is probably at 4.5 feet plus or minus right there. So we're really not going up really far,
Yeah,
but we'll have a space underneath the building that will secure off.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, just a couple questions, Megan. We have SwiftMud DOT city permit, right, for the parking? We have all the permits in hand?
We don't have to have those permits.
You don't have to have permits?
We don't have to have a DOT permit, and we're not.
Yeah, I don't, with its previous permit and the cut already being there, the work that we're doing is behind the apron area there. So we're good to go to just replace that in kind, is my understanding. So
That's
I think
correct.
Al's been working with you on that, yeah.
All right, then you don't need to pull a SwiftMud exemption.
No, it'll be built per its original design with the exception of the bathroom, and that's not going to impact it such that we would have to do anything different. It's, minor, so.
And is this plan consistent with the development agreement that was, I think it might have been expired? Tom probably knows that. Has that been expired?
I believe it has expired, yeah.
Okay. So we don't necessarily need to be consistent with that development agreement?
If it's expired, we don't have to comply with it any longer, that's correct.
But there's a sidewalk easement, right, in the middle of the property?
There is an easement.
Not in the middle of the property, it's on the caddy's side of the property. Where those 4 spaces.
In the middle of both properties is
that
what
Mr. Dillon was just speaking of, that's where the easement is that caddy's granted to the city. There is no easement on the other side, on the south side of the property.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. When you are building the parking lot, are you going to extend the water and sewer to where the future restrooms would be?
Yes, so the sewer, the sanitary line is already in place, it's already been cameraed and checked. And it is
Exactly where the new restroom will be?
exactly where the restroom was previously is within the same footprint of the new restroom.
I see.
We are just turning it, and we are putting in a permanent structure versus a trailer.
Okay. Now, as far as parking, is that, it's not free parking, right? The parking spaces there,
Those are all paid parking
paid
spaces.
parking spaces, right?
They're the same way that the park was prior to Helene is
Okay.
what we are putting back.
So whether somebody's using the restaurant or just want to enjoy the beach, I guess it's toss-up, right? Whoever gets there first.
For parking, yes, it's first come, first serve.
I see.
Unless you all decide to put the few residential parking spaces back.
And do we have some sort of a ramp between the parking lot and the beach?
The beach access, the
yes.
walkover, there was one there. We are going to put that back. The
So it'll be-
same exact placement that it was
So
previously.
it'll be ramped and it will meet ADA, right?
It will.
It will meet ADA. So, you know, we have a designation of, we've talked about this site being a park, but I can't imagine people coming there and just wanting to just sit there maybe under a tree, I think they probably, this property will facilitate people to enjoy the beach.
The same way it has always been.
Understood. I just want to clarify this for public. That
understand where
yet
it's
some
coming
people
from.
are saying this is a park. And a park, when you think of a park, you think of a couple of spaces, a whole bunch of trees and some benches and things in that nature. This being on the beach, people will come and park and enjoy the beach. So it's a parking to enjoy the park, which is on the beach. So I'm just saying that to clarify this, because I know some people out there are listening, just want to clarify that this is not necessarily a park by certain definition. In fact, I went down there further in the county. There's a county park further south, and it's all parking. And they call it a county, I don't know the name of the park, but it's some sort of.
County park.
It's a county park. So it's a park, but you don't see people just sitting there and enjoying a day. They are just mostly on the beach.
It is the same as John's Pass Park and Archibald Park.
Yes.
And there is no difference in that parking lot park.
Yep.
Now, the only difference than what it was prior to the remodel is that the pavilion has been swapped out for a restroom. That is the only difference. It has always only had parking spaces, a shower, and a beach access, or a pavilion and now a restroom. So there is no difference besides changing out that pavilion to a restroom and then adding parking spaces. That's the only difference.
Understood. So, of course, this is a workshop, and I'm sure we'll be discussing this in our next meeting. So I would like to encourage public, whoever may be objective to what we are discussing, to be here in our next meeting so we can hear them and clarify things. So please be here at this meeting in a couple of weeks. Tell us if we're doing something wrong so we can correct it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Good clarification that it is a park, regardless of what social media wants to tell us. It is a park. Megan, just to ask the question about the 4 parking spots, is there a way for those to be open for the public?
I would have to take a look at it. We do have to remember that there is a fence, and
Yep.
it is blocking off the unstable portion of the park.
That's
the
why I
pavers.
asked,
So
yeah.
I would have to take a look at
And
it
see
and
if
see, because if there's not enough space to back up, then we wouldn't meet our
Right.
code, and we have to ensure that we do that, or else we're putting ourselves in liability of any incidents.
If you could just look at it.
Sure.
And then, since the bathroom is turned a different way, is there an opportunity to have a picnic table there? Once the bathroom goes in? Or could you even put one there?
There could be. There could be. If we were to possibly change the sidewalk area that you see and kind of change that area a little bit more, we could probably put a picnic table there. Or I could put a picnic table on the beach if you'd like.
Well, that's kind of what I was after, is all of the noise that we hear that talks about it not being a park. It is a park. It doesn't have a pavilion any longer. When it had a pavilion, it had a lot of drug addicts.
It sure did.
And there were a lot of issues there.
That is
And the
correct.
sheriff's department would tell you that. People who lived there would tell you that. It was not a beautiful park that you went to and had a picnic with your kids. So I think it's mindful that people understand that. You can dislike that there is a new parking lot there that the city is making thousands of dollars off of.
Yes.
That helps keep our taxes at low and at bay. But the improvement gave us more parking spaces. It cleaned up the drug infestation that we had there and provided a bathroom for beachgoers to use. That is a great improvement for the parking, for that park. So I think the narrative should be a little bit more truthful and community-minded. Now, if you go there, well, not now because of the hurricane, but once the repairs are completed and you go to Tom and Kitty Stewart Park and you have to use the restroom, you have a place to go. You didn't have that prior to the renovation of the park. So thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you very much for clarifying that, Madam Mayor. Very important. And thank you, Megan, for explaining everything to everyone that's here and watching at home.
Absolutely. We can't wait to get this project off of our list. So we are working diligently and pushing as much as we can of our engineers, and I will get that out. I have the packet is pretty ready. I just have to put in the scope, and I just need the specifications.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is purchase of 2026 Ford F-550 4x4 dump truck.
This is my last and final item, I believe. So in the 2026 budget, I did put in there to replace a 2009 F-550 dump truck that we currently use. That truck is near the end of its useful life and is becoming a money pit. So I put in $125,000 into the budget, and as you can see, this truck has come in significantly lower than my budget. And even with adding lights that we need, we will still stay well under $100,000. So this will be purchased off the Florida Sheriff's Association bid out of Miami. I'm not sure. We piggyback off of this bid. This is where we can purchase equipment. We can purchase any different small equipment, large equipment that we need, and it is procured and bid out the same as we do. It's just one less step that we have to do, that we have utilization over. So I am able to answer any questions that you may have.
Do we have any public comment? Commission?
So that $90,780, that includes the dump and everything.
That is correct.
I think that's fantastic.
Yes, and as soon as I give them a PO, it's ready. So he gave me two options. This truck was ready within 2 weeks. There was another option for 14 to 16 week lead time to build it out, and that one was more expensive. So I don't quite understand. But yes, significantly lower than what I
I've looked at the
intended.
value of trucks for a long time. This is fantastic.
We do get great prices on vehicles.
Good job.
Thank you.
Are you trading in the old truck for this one?
There is no monetary value to that truck. We were going to use it until it dies because we have 0 spare trucks in our public works yard. So in the event a truck goes down, we don't really have a vehicle, and we call it 40. It's truck 40. We use that often. They were using it today to trim trees at the parks. So it does go on the beach. It picks up beach debris. It's used in almost every department has used it. Maybe not fire, but the rec center uses it often. So just having an extra vehicle in general is nice to have. So we'll use it until it dies, but we won't put any further money into it.
And you're going to put a city logo on the doors, right?
It has a city logo, and they do not leave the mechanic shop without lights and a city logo.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
the lights aren't on the bid. Do you
they-
have an estimated price for those?
I do not, but I would say typically to outfit a vehicle for what we usually do, strobes on the front, a light bar, it's around $1,500 at most.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda is recreation, Madeira Beach Youth Baseball and Softball Contract Renewal.
Good afternoon again, Mayor, Commissioners. It's pretty straightforward. It's a contract renewal with the group that utilizes the fields. They've been out there for years, long before I've been here, but the big thing with this is it's just a name change. The group that their board, fundraising board, has changed their LLC name or their incorporation name, so that's the only change. They provided I have the contract attached, but they did provide their SunBiz information, so I made sure that was consistent with everything throughout the contract. It's a contract we've used previously, so really no changes to it, just changing the name and moving forward.
Do we have any public comment? Commission, any questions or comments?
Is this contract annual?
Yes, it is annual. With the initial discussion a couple years ago, we talked about automatically renewing it, but rather than doing that, we meet with them and discuss and see if there's any changes rather than just renewing automatically, because we want to make sure that we're having to discuss it, not just ignoring it.
Yeah.
So.
And there's no cost difference, right, between
No.
past?
And if you look at, we did a lot of research the first time we put this through. Cities have traditionally, I want to say subsidized, I guess, Little League organizations. We still technically do, just based on a cost basis, but I would say that the city of Madeira Beach receives a substantial amount of money compared to most organizations. We see like a lot of contracts that are for $1 for the year. The fact that we're getting $2,500 per season plus a fee per participant is pretty substantial. So, and it's good to see that they're willing to meet us halfway on that and make sure that there's an investment both ways.
Does this affect our TDC funds?
It does not. They work with us very well with bringing in tournaments. We've actually got a college tournament this weekend and next weekend that are through the TDC. So there's a nice balance of the league and then these travel tournaments that help bring in other funding. And then looking further at potential increased infrastructure out there, concession stand or whatever else. This group is actually very committed to helping us get to that point, as whether it's fundraising, sponsorship, or even letters of recommendation to the TDC. They're on board to help us out.
Awesome, thank you.
Any more questions? Then next on the agenda is award of RFP 25-17 City of Madeira Beach fireworks.
All right. So we did issue an RFP for fireworks. We received 2 bids. I'm looking for the names here. One of them is Master Pyro Display LLC, which is the company that we were previously contracted with. And then the other was North Florida Pyrotechnics. In review of the RFPs, we found that so one of the requirements, we were actually looking for the most responsive and responsible bidder. We weren't necessarily looking for the lowest bid. You guys were gracious enough to raise the budget for the 250th year, so we wanted to make sure that the company that we selected maximized said budget. With that review, Master Pyro Display showed that they were going to get the largest value out of what they provided to us, plus our comfort in knowing their operations plan and everything that we've utilized with them in the past led us to the decision that we were going to look to award the contract to Master Pyro Display LLC. So it would be the same company we've been using, similar contract, which was, I believe it was, where is it? Initial term of 1 year with 2 one-year renewals. So it would still come back every year. But he's committed to work with us moving forward, as hopefully we are too.
Do we have any public comment?
Sorry.
Oh.
I left one. I did remember one thing. I know the sticking point was 4th of July. It would be, per this contract, would be the 4th of July. So he is numerous cities throughout the state that they are working with. So what they are going to do is they would show up on the 3rd. They're going to wire everything, get it all ready to go. We would supply security overnight. This would be on a barge. Security overnight, and then relocate the barge on the 4th, and then they would operate the shows remotely. The technology's come a long way to make sure that this is foolproof. And then even if you all saw last year, even after that monsoon that we had, they were still able to get 95% of the show off. So
Yeah.
I probably higher than that. I think I saw 3 shells that didn't explode last year after that, which was incredible.
Well, and
So-
if somebody didn't tell you that there were any bad ones, you wouldn't have known it.
Right,
It was a
exactly.
great show, yeah. Do we have any public comment? Commission, any questions or comments?
Weather conditions, the second day is same as usual. The cancellation policy on the first day goes into the second day, correct?
Yes, but he's, again, just like last year, we are absolutely committed
Yeah.
to sticking it out as
Yeah.
long as we possibly can, because just the headache of unloading, reloading, all that stuff, but yes, he's committed to that. So.
Okay, thank you. Good job.
So how many times a year will we have this fireworks just for pleasure of public, and what is the cost?
So there's with this, there's three displays, two of which are $5,000, and then the other which is, let's see, 25 or 35. I believe it was 35,000. The total overall budget's 50,000. We built in a 5,000 buffer in case there were other expenses. Again, the security overnight needs to be built into that budget. So it's 5,000, 5,000, and then 35,000. Yeah, and the two $5,000 ones are the ones that you may have seen off of the pier at the rec center.
Thank you.
Jay, we talked about months and months and months ago about, and we haven't talked about it really at all, but about a 250th celebration on the 4th of July. Will this fire display be any more than what we've had in the past?
Yeah, traditionally it's been a $20,000 fireworks
Okay,
display.
so it'll be bigger this year to kind of
Yes.
keep in with the theme of, okay, that was the only question I had. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you.
And we do not have any public comments to respond to from the beginning, so it is 4:57 and we are adjourned.